Good morning and welcome to the Standing Committee's meeting for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. All council meetings will be live streamed on the city's website, and for guest speakers, please do not turn off your microphones. Our first order of business is roll call. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Here.
Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross. Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mr. Mosley.
Here.
Mrs. Cale Smith. Mrs. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. Mrs. Strasburger, Chair.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you. Our next order of business is public comment. I would like to remind all speakers that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which are or may be before city council, and profanity will not be permitted. Please state your name and neighborhood for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Adrienne Walnoha.
Good morning. My name is Adrienne Wanoha. I am the acting chair of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board and a resident of the Observatory Hill neighborhood. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to make comments this morning. I have had the pleasure of serving on the HOF advisory since its inception. My work in the housing arena, and particularly around housing stability, started in 1998 when I found that 80% of the individuals I was serving as a therapist had significant barriers to accessing and maintaining stable and affordable housing. Since that time, in the 27 years since, the need for affordable housing creation, preservation, and housing supports has not resolved. In fact, it has gotten worse. Local, state, national support for affordable housing is shrinking, and inflationary costs have outpaced what we had originally and now put us at a deficit. The Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory has spent the last year deepening our understanding of the housing needs across Pittsburgh and have presented our recommendations for 2026 allocations through the fund. With these limited resources, we have been able to fund vital city-based housing supports and look to you to not only support our recommendations for 2026, but to continue your commitment to affordable housing across Pittsburgh through the Housing Opportunity Fund programs. Through these programs and the Housing Opportunity Fund through these programs and the Housing Opportunity Fund funding, we will see city residents secure and maintain affordable housing, positive movement toward closing our affordable housing deficit, and we will fill gaps that no other resources have the flexibility to fill. Let's consider the demonstration program alone through the Housing Opportunity Fund that's provided safe emergency housing opportunities for hundreds of city residents who would have otherwise been on the street, critical infrastructure improvements at Wood Street Commons, which provides accessible housing for 259 residents, and housing subsidies for dozens of individuals caught in local funding reductions who would have been on the street otherwise. Again, with funds shrinking and inflation rising, 1,000 individuals experiencing homelessness and 11,000 citizens of Allegheny County experiencing housing vulnerability, we need to preserve HOF's work. Hundreds of Pittsburghers will be supported by only one single solitary fund alone. And the Housing Opportunity Advisory Board continues its commitment to working with you to deploy the funds that were previously awarded, work through our 2026 allocation, and we need your ongoing support. Please approve our 2026 allocation plan that has been presented, and we look forward to working with you in the future and invite you to join the advisory group for any of our meetings and any of our conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next registered speaker is Tanika Harris.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good morning, Council Chair Erica Strasburger, Council President Lavelle, and members of City Council. I am Tanika Harris, a resident of Knoxville
and I also serve on the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board. And let me begin by saying nothing and no one is above critique, and that includes the Housing Opportunity Fund and its advisory board. And these are the members of the advisory board, so I think it's important that you know that. James Eash, Terrell Thomas, Karen Garrett, Ellie Fisher, Councilwoman Deb Gross, Deidre Washington, Rochelle Preston, Rebecca Yago, Alan Sisko, Layla Matthews, Adrian Wanaha, Robert Helwig, and myself. And there's also 3 vacancies that we look forward to filling. So I recognize there's been conversation about ending the Housing Opportunity Fund and reallocating those dollars. And I want to offer some perspective from someone who sees firsthand what these funds accomplish and how they matter to the people in our communities. So I'm going to say HOF, which is the acronym. HOF did not appear out of thin air. It was created after the city's Affordable Housing Task Force spent a year studying the housing crisis in 2015 through 2016. The recommendation was that Pittsburgh needed a dedicated long-term strategy to address the growing gap in affordable housing. The city responded by committing $10 million a year for 12 years. And that commitment has been a lifeline for people who have spent far too long living in unstable, unsafe, and unaffordable housing. So the advisory board works closely with the URA staff who ensure that we have the information needed to make responsible decisions. And as board members, our job is to lift the needs of the communities we serve and to carry accurate information back to them. And we take that seriously. And because we take that seriously, we also can see the impact. So when a family moves into a new affordable rental development, because the rental gap program helped the projects get built, that is HOF at work. When a senior gets a roof replaced or a furnace repaired so they can safely age in place in the home that they lived in for decades, that is HOF at work. When someone faces a temporary crisis and receives emergency housing stabilization to prevent them from losing everything, that is HOF at work. So when a first-time home buyer is finally able to close because they received a down payment support, that is HOF at work. Tangled titles are being resolved. That's HOF at work. These are lives in every one of your council districts that have benefited from HOF and HOF being at work. So HOF is one of the few tools that we have that actually aligns with the city's responsibility to ensure that its residents can remain in place, they can have stability and access opportunity. Eliminating this and to redirect funds would dismantle a proven pathway that families rely on every day. And I speak today to affirm that the advisory board is informed, we are engaged, and we are committed. And we believe in accountability, we believe in transparency.
Thank you. You may submit your written comments in full to the city clerk. Our final registered speaker is Madeline McGrady.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, Council. Madeline McGrady. I'm a renter in Highland Park. I'm the Human Rights Program Manager at the Global Switchboard and a co-chair of the Pittsburgh Housing Justice Table, which formed to help create the Housing Opportunity Fund. So I understand that Council is having to take a hard look at the city finances, and I'm speaking today to urge you to preserve funding for the Housing Opportunity Fund. As others have said, it plays a really vital role in supporting affordable housing creation across the city and providing direct legal assistance and social support to residents experiencing a housing crisis. I think to retract this funding at this time would be honestly like unimaginably cruel amidst the current economic conditions. And I would say that, you know, as our elected officials, it's really your responsibility to protect the policies and programs that help preserve the basic human rights of our residents, including the right to housing. When our elected officials don't provide social safety net services, no one else does. I think it's easy to think that people just figure it out, but the truth is the gap will not be filled, and the outcome of a lack of social safety nets is simply abject suffering. When you have experienced this kind of crisis, or you've worked in social services as I have, you see that people are not able to just figure it out. The outcome of eviction without support is unemployment, school absenteeism, mental health deterioration, people becoming doubled up and overcrowded, things like domestic violence, sex trafficking and exploitation. Obviously, some people are forced to sleep outside, and that's a cycle that can continue for years. So yeah, our coalition formed and fought for the HOF because all of the residents in our city, including seniors, people with disabilities, youth in foster care, family with children, and low-income households deserve basic human rights and to be treated with dignity by their government, including in their worst hour. It's not acceptable to wash your hands of their predicament and say, oh well, we had to balance the budget. It's not. I hope you can find a way to do what you need to do, but please preserve the HOF. It's really, really, really needed now more than ever. And if I have some time, I'll just say, you know, there were over 4,000 eviction cases filed in the city in 2024. The Lawyer of the Day program covered just 4 of the 12 courts, but was able to assist, you know, over 40% of the cases of households that were facing eviction. Support was provided to families in subsidized housing to help them stay in their homes. And over 700 families were stabilized through landlord-tenant mediation before the eviction process even began, meaning they could avoid, you know, the trap of having that eviction filing on their record.
Thank you very much. And you may also submit written comments to City Council, City Clerk, if you wish. There being no further registered speakers, we will now take comments from those in the audience wishing to speak.
Well, no one, there's quite a few people in the audience, but they don't want to speak. I came today, and I'm a little sad. I came Tuesday, but you know, I forget that even though your rules say Tuesday and Wednesday, you will have the meeting, but if it's a holiday, you'd stay home. And I forgot it was a holiday. I came Tuesday, when I was talking to Denise. That's when Denise told me that Carmen Brown had passed. Carmen Brown had passed, and it really brought tears to my eyes. And then I feel kind of bad. You need to understand about Carmen. Carmen called me one time and said, they're having the meeting, the planning committee. She said, Yvonne, I can't make it, but you must go. You must go so we can tell the people in Homewood what Burgess was doing. Now, my understanding, he was given $1 million, it might have been $2 million, and he was taking the money and getting ready to put the program in his church building. He had another building he's getting ready to do. And Carmen said, Yvonne, you must let the community don't know. So I came down, and I did speak to the lady, and I can't think of her name, but she was the head of planning. You would know who she is. So I told her to please check into that. The community don't know. So he didn't get that. And, he did not get it. But what I wanted to say was that I also know that Carmen fought for the people. I went to Rick Earl, who is the reporter, and I said, Rick, I wanted to ask you a question about so-and-so. And he said, oh, call Carmen Brown, because she will get you through. And what I want the people to understand, that I thought that Carmen was a pearl. Do you understand a pearl? She sued Burgess. I had the paper, but I don't have it now. She actually sued Burgess with something that he was going to do. And so I myself had a problem with Jens calling him Reverend Burgess, because I knew I'm from the old school, and we were taught the state and the state and the people is supposed to be I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say, but I think what's bothering me is that we won't have Carmen to come down or to even give us some guidance. Because we can ask you questions, you won't tell us. But Carmen, I think that the only thing I can say, because I am really kind of moved by her dying, that she was a soldier in the fight for rights. And well done, Carmen. Well done, my sister.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Special Agent Sunshine. I have to go really fast because it's a lot. Thank you, Lord, for using me as a vessel to do your will, not mine. Before Jesus ascended to heaven, he promised his disciples in his love they'd have the Holy Spirit to give them the power they'd need to do his work and spread the gospel. To live, you need the wisdom of God. Today's wisdom comes from Proverbs 19:23. It says, "The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble." How y'all sleeping? Y'all, it's not good, I know. It's rough. No rest for the wicked. What we respect guides our decisions, our values, and our futures. Take God seriously enough to live for him every day. You will learn what it's like to live life to the fullest. John 10:10 says, "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Abundant life for me is the peace that surpasses all understanding. Y'all having peace in y'all life? Kind of stressful, huh? I know. I'll take the peace that surpasses all understanding over money and any materialistic thing that it can buy. The older you get, the harder it is to have peace in your life because other people will stress you out with their lives. God removed me from other people. That's why I don't have a phone. People like y'all who block my communication from the world. So he placed me on this platform so the world would still see and hear what he has to say through me. Today's code word for this Advent season is favor. 4 testimonies of grace in the family tree of Jesus come from women. Isn't that amazing? These women are Rahab, Matthew 1:5, please read it. Ruth, verse 5. Bathsheba and Tamar. I think I'm saying her name right. Lord, thank you for giving me what I never deserved, an amazing gift, grace, in Jesus' name. The Advent season, again, is about when we look forward to celebrating Christ's coming. A lot of you think we're still waiting for him to come. No. When he rose on the 3rd day, that's when he came, with all power in his hand. So it doesn't matter how many candles you light, how many voodoo rituals you do, you will never have that power. So please stop, because every time you light a candle, I'm praying that it blows up in somebody's face. That energy will be returned with death in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Are there any further speakers? Seeing none, we will move on to the standing committee's agenda. And our first committee is the Finance and Law Committee. Supplemental New Papers, Bill 2572.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 886 of 2021, effective December 27th, 2021, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2022 Capital Budget and the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Program by decreasing litter can upgrades and monitoring by $150,000 and increasing capital equipment acquisition by $150,000.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2572, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Deferred papers, Bill 2487.
Resolution amending Resolution 519 of 2025, which authorized the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional services agreement with Buchanan, Ingersoll, and Rooney PC for legal consulting services in connection with complex real property litigation and related matters by increasing the contract amount by $55,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $130,000 over 1 year.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2487, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2511.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional service agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with Whole Law Office for legal consulting services related to liquor licenses in the city in an amount not to exceed $5,000 over 1 year.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2511, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2512.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of National Church Residences, Parkside Manor Senior Housing LP in an amount not to exceed $11,408 over 1 year in full and final settlement of a claim for damage to the building underpass at 1306 Brookline Boulevard from a city EMS vehicle exceeding the height restriction on February 1st, 2025.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2512, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2513.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Patricia Williams in an amount not to exceed $3,125 over 1 year in full and final settlement of a claim for damage to her parked vehicle from a city fire vehicle on August 13th, 2025.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2513, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2514.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Brady Patsy and his attorney Chafin Luhana, LLC, for a single payment in 2025 in an amount not to exceed $42,500 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2514, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2515.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 857 of 2023, effective December 27, 2023, as amended, entitled, Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2024 Capital Budget, the proposed 2024 Community Development Program, and the 2024 through 2029 Capital Improvement Program by increasing Calera Street Bridge by $27,500 and increasing Corley Street Bridge by $27,500 to account for Federal Highway Administration funding being received at no cost to the City of Pittsburgh.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2515, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2516.
Resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 166 of the City Code, donation of city personal property, the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning to donate personal property valued at $15,000 to Lawrenceville Life Links to transfer ownership of the Lawrenceville Life Links artwork to the original artist.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2516, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2517.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 886 of 2021, effective December 27, 2021, as amended, entitled, Resolution adopting and approving the 2022 capital budget and the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Program so as to decrease Steel City Boxing Association by $5,000 and increase Community Empowerment Association, Inc. by $5,000 so as to fund specific public service grant projects of the mayor's office and authorize a subsequent agreement or agreements.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion?
Yeah, where's
I know it
the
is.
discussion?
Discussion? Councilman Wilson.
Yeah, this is the second time I'm seeing the Steel City Boxing on the agenda. I realized the first time, and that money was coming from District 6. Where's this?
I
do
can speak to that.
Where did the funds originate from?
Interrogatory?
I mean, I know where Steel City Boxing is. I don't know about what the funding. That's what I had questions about it too. Is that what you wanted to know, where it was?
Yeah, it's in my district, and I had given money to.
Oh, it's in your district, Steel City Boxing?
I have that AJ Stevens and Michael Knight might be here to speak to this. Is there someone else? Okay, we have.
Jeez,
Yeah,
whole situation. Huh?
Steel City Boxing.
Thank you, thank you.
So this is your district.
Maybe there's more than one. I don't know. We'll see.
Please introduce yourselves.
Kelly Russell, Assistant Director, Community Development.
AJ Stevens, Program Supervisor, Community Development. This money came from the Mayor's Office, Public
Okay.
Service Grants.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying. And then I guess we have another point of clarification. Apparently, there's two Steel City Boxing.
Yes, so what had happened is in 2022, they were awarded funds from different pots of either council and the Mayor's Office. And this summer, they finally came to the conclusion that they were not able to meet the administrative requirements of the grant, so they relinquished the funds, but they have to be reprogrammed according to where the funding originally came
Yeah,
from.
but are there two Steel City Boxing organizations that have two different addresses in your? We can do this offline. I just didn't know. Councilman said he has one. He has one too, so just wanted to be aware of that in the future.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
we will take a
sure
note of
there's not
that.
Hey, just curious.
No, that's
I'll
all
follow.
right.
We'll follow up. Thanks.
Got you.
We put the addresses in the contract, so we are checking it like at contracting time.
Everyone wants to be Steel City. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, yeah, I guess some clarification, right? Steel City, I have a Steel City Boxing Club on Route 51. Is that what this is? No.
I am going to double check.
And are they the same group or two different groups with the same name? Is that?
So it might be a situation where they have affiliates, but I'm going to see what I can find in their file.
And you said that this was monies that they couldn't find a way to spend? Is that what you
Yes.
said?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That does happen.
That doesn't happen often, does it? I mean,
We have groups that can't spend the funds the way
Yeah,
they're supposed to
yeah.
be spent.
Got
So
it, yeah,
we
so-
do go through reprogramming.
yeah, so they're like restricted and they can't quite fit them into there. So we don't know which Steel City this was. Okay, we're looking at it. Okay.
Yes.
And plus, we know Steel City, a lot of organizations like to use Steel City on GP.
Right.
Okay, so this one is actually, they use a mailing address in Monroeville. Because I believe, yes, we come across this every time they apply. We're like, are you in Pittsburgh? And they say our mailing address is in
So
Monroeville.
is that why they couldn't use the funds? Or why they
Oh,
couldn't?
no, even though they have a Monroeville address, you still have to use these funds serving city residents. So that's
Right.
not an issue.
Right, okay, so this is like another Steel City Boxing that we don't, not located at my district or Councilman Wilson's.
Yes, it looks like it.
I was letting you do that. I was going through something else.
Yes, but they will, so obviously with this contract, they didn't expend the full amount, but they have had past contracts, and they are responsible for keeping documentation proving that all of the youth that are benefiting from these funds are city residents.
So I'm just like making sure that this isn't.
He just wants to know whether which city is
Well,
still
yeah,
city.
if it's
I
not my
got you.
district, it doesn't even concern me. I'm just curious as to, you said it has a Monroeville address, but we have two Steel City Boxing clubs that we know of in the district. But either way, they couldn't expend the funds, so this is not, they didn't meet the criteria, I guess, or.
Correct. They just couldn't use the funds, and then the funds are going to a group who can use the
Okay,
funds.
well, it's not important, I guess, right now. I just was curious as to whether it was the one in my district or Councilman Wilson's or are they in Monroeville? I don't know.
A secret
Yeah,
third
okay,
thing.
Yeah, right, okay. They could enough. I'm
There's one
fine.
on the north side.
Is there another Steel City Boxing Club on the north side?
I think there's several different programs.
Affiliates or something?
Yeah, sort of like the Pittsburgh Athletic League or Police Athletic League. There's several different locations, but they all have different names, but they're all under one
Under one
umbrella.
umbrella.
And she actually lives in Monroeville, the widow of Jimmy
Jimmy
Stabetic.
Stabetic's wife, yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, that explains the Monroeville address.
I'm not saying that they're the same. I'm
No,
saying
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
they could be.
Okay, so if I could just somehow get clarification, which organization,
Location.
which site that this money was kind of designated to, and that's all I really want to know.
So I'm going to look into their scope and see if that mentions a specific location, because otherwise we are mostly just concerned with city residents. Spring Hill.
That's Mr. Wilson's.
Winner.
Chicken dinner.
Sorry.
It's on Anthony, though.
Oh, I'm done. If it's in Spring Hill, I have no further comments.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2517, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2518.
Resolution amending Resolution 174 of 2022, which authorized the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with Commonwealth Press for services relating to the sale of officially licensed and branded City of Pittsburgh merchandise by extending the term through the end of 2027 at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
Is there anyone who can speak to this? I just am curious.
And I do want to thank Chief Cornell for briefing me on this as well beforehand.
Good morning, Patrick Cornell, Chief Financial Officer.
Yeah, so can you?
Sure. So at the end of 2021, the city did a full RFP for officially licensed and branded merchandise. Commonwealth Press was the selected awardee. We have had a great experience working with them. We finally had our initial contract executed in 2022. I've been here once to extend for 1 year, and this resolution would allow us to extend through the end of 2027. That gets us at the end of the typical 5-year, approach for an RFP. But we have been working with Commonwealth Press to offer official city merchandise. I bought a lot of it. I'm not wearing any of it today. I should have. I apologize. But they have stickers, pennants, mugs, T-shirts. The first iteration and run was really what is the brand of the city, right? So we used a variant of the merchant flag, so the castle with the stars around it. We have things with the flag on it. We have parks designs for city parks. And then we have ideas of, how could this keep moving into the future? I will acknowledge that I am not the best project manager, given my background in budget and finance for merchandise, but it's been fun to learn and carry this one through.
So I am familiar with this, and I remember when we launched it and we did an online sale, and I thought the idea was that we would actually sell this merchandise in the lobby of the city county building. But I will say that, and that never materialized, but I will say, when this launched, I bought a sweatshirt. It's a black sweatshirt, and I get so many compliments on this thing. It is so comfortable. It is soft. I mean, I'm not even joking. Every time I wear it, people are like, "Ooh, where'd you get that?" It says like Pittsburgh down the arm. It's gorgeous. So if we could actually, I feel like this could be really good.
Yeah,
right?
we've thought about that, right?
Yeah.
Logistics can get a little complicated because we would either, as a city, need to acquire inventory and then purchase enough inventory and then have someone selling it as their job, right? Or Commonwealth Press would need to provide someone whose job it is to do that, and that neither of them really fit the bill at the time. But I've thought about that a lot, having it somewhere.
Even if there was a way that I could like direct people, be like, oh, just go here and you can buy it here. I would love to wear this sweatshirt at the table and like never wear a suit again.
Agreed.
But
Right. Commonwealth does offer it for vendors to buy wholesale. So Love Pittsburgh does have a few of the options. We've been trying to work with the zoo. We have a zoo shirt. We were trying to get it into their gift shop. So some of it is letting the separate retailers choose whether or not they want to, and we can always do another push. But if not, they are always available online at Commonwealth Press's website. One thing that we did over the past few years is a challenge coin made from the Core 10 steel that the steel tower is made of. Sydney, Cooper, and I and the communications team went out to Johnstown to watch them forge these coins, and it's just a really cool experience. Yeah. It's been fun.
Well, so at any rate, that's, for the incoming administration, it'd be great. Well, it seems like we could just get it on the city website.
There are interesting considerations as to what we can and cannot directly link to, is what that conversation comes up, but we can keep talking about it. James Hill, of course, will be back in January. He started this process in 21 and will kind of regain ownership of it.
Great, because I'm telling you, this sweatshirt, everyone loves it. It's covered in cat hair, but hopefully other people's will not be. So, okay, thank you.
I see a City Channel ad in the future featuring Councilmember Warbeck. I think I saw Councilmember Charland and then Councilwoman Cale Smith.
Very quickly, what district is Commonwealth Press located in?
They are in District 3.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cale Smith.
Darn it, just outside District 2.
It is
Literally
just
across the
outside.
street.
Just across the street, right.
Very close.
But I do want to mention that there's also a gift shop. You mentioned Love Pittsburgh, which was started in the Mount Washington in District 2. But there's also on Shiloh Street, Grandview Bakery now has Pittsburgh gear. They have Pittsburgh books that were about Pittsburgh neighborhoods for kids. I mean, it's amazing. So it's a little shop, but I just want to make sure that maybe we can work with him as well.
I'm thinking about, the draft. I'm thinking about the new shops at the airport. There's plenty of opportunity to keep this growing.
Thank you for your work on this.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2518, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation.
Thank you.
Bill 2519.
Resolution amending Resolution 842 of 2024, which authorized an agreement or agreements and lease or leases by and between the City of Pittsburgh and First Vehicle Services, a transdev company, to manage and maintain the city's vehicle fleet by increasing the authorized spend by $400,000 for a new amount not to exceed $79,249,343.75 over a 6-year period.
I
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. With discussion, Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had robust discussion about the pain and agony of this arrangement when we first put this resolution 842 2024 in place. So I'm just going to make sure that the public doesn't miss that now it's being increased by $400,000 to a new total of $79,249,343.75 over a 6-year period. And this is not unrelated to the reason that your streets are full of leaves and haven't been swept for most of this year, or that sometimes, even though for decades we had impeccable environmental services, garbage and recycling pickup, that sometimes now you have to call our office because your garbage has been not picked up. It's not our operations or our workers, it's the vehicles. So that's it. I don't really have any questions except for I just wanted to acknowledge the pain and the agony. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilmember Warwick, and we do have Furman here to come to the table if necessary.
Yeah, so I guess it was just to clarify. I mean, we had, I don't know if we want to have, if you'd like to come up, or Councilwoman, or Madam Chair, if you'd like to explain, but just that this is money that, this is work that was already done. Correct? Yeah, go ahead, I'll let you.
Senior Manager of Fleet Services.
Go ahead.
Yes, these are repairs that have already taken place. These units are back in operation or in service. We need to pay our bills.
I guess, which vehicle, or is this just all general?
Yes, this is all vehicles that would, all repairs that would fall under non-contract spending.
Got it. And for what time
Unplanned
period
maintenance,
is the
basically.
400,000?
Sorry, Mr. Maurice, can you speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Sorry.
And for what time period is the 400,000?
That is funds from 25 fuel that we are reallocating towards non-contract expenses.
Sorry, no, I meant to say, what
me.
time period were these repairs? Like, are these repairs, are these 6 months worth of repairs, a year worth of repairs?
These
a month
would-
worth of repairs?
This is about 6 months worth of repairs. Currently, we have funded through July. This is to cover from July to current.
Okay, from July. And then do we know roughly, just to sort of have some frame of reference, how many vehicles were repaired?
Under this? No, I don't have that information handy.
I mean,
It's way over 40. It would be closer to 400.
okay. Okay, so, I mean, if you're looking at like $1,000 a vehicle, depending, and these, sorry, correct me, these are the non-standard?
These are the non-contract repairs.
So this is like not the oil changes and the
Correct.
tire
These are
rotation, whatever?
Vehicles breaking down on the road, all kind of repairs that were not scheduled.
Got it. I don't think I have any other, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. First round, Councilperson Charland.
Yes. So when we learned about this contract, or not learned, but dove into this contract, there were really two categories of repairs. There were the routine maintenance repairs and the more extensive work that we had to have done. I forget how we distinguish these two categories. What are the name of the two categories?
Contractually, there are target and non-target.
Target and non-target, yes. Are these target or non-target expenses?
These are non-target.
These are non-target. So these are more extensive repairs that we need to do.
Exactly.
Now, we were told at that time that because we never hit, we overpay for non-target services every month.
Correct.
But we were able to use that savings towards non-target payments to cover the cost of a lot of those. Is this something that we were not able to cover because of the non-target costs?
Exactly.
So in addition to all the money that we've put in there, and again, they take a cut off of our non-target, the overages.
Correct.
This is an additional cost on top of that.
Yes.
Man, this is... I understand that, the way that this was explained to us is that this is a bad contract. This was the best option of the bidders, the people that did bid on this. This is tough to look at. I know, talking to my foreman yesterday, we're down 6 trucks in the 4th Division after yesterday's snowfall, which ultimately was not, I think they did a very good job with, but this is tough to look at here.
I agree. It's even tougher to manage.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know what else we can do, but we do have to pay our bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Furman, let me put this in perspective. $79 million for how many vehicles do we have? What's an entire fleet?
Currently, 1,274 vehicles.
1,274 vehicles, and that's only in 6 months, did you say?
The cost that we are talking about now, they were incurred in 6 months.
You talking about the 400,000, or you talking about the 79 million?
Oh, no.
Okay,
No.
all right.
The 79 million's over 6 years. I
Over
believe.
6 years. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is not 1 year's.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. And that's $400,000 because we don't have the money there. And we still have, what, that covers up, like for instance, Councilman Charlin said, I got a call from our 4th Division yesterday. They had 16 vehicles, of only 6 were working. That's not included in this probably because this was just
Correct.
yesterday, right?
Correct.
So we're going to have another bill at the end of December of shortage too. That's $400,000. That's for how long a period?
We will, pending the approval of this transfer, we still have a balance of $189,000. That, along with the December bill, we will have to roll into 26.
Yeah, you inherited a real mess here. You know that, right? You've
Working
worked
through
in
it.
other cities, right? You've worked
Yes,
in
sir.
New Orleans. Did you? Where'd you work?
New Orleans, Louisiana, sir.
Did they have anything close to this in repairs, or did they? What's their fleet look like compared to ours? I mean, what's it compared? Tell me.
The city of New Orleans has about 2,800 vehicles in the fleet. If we are looking at scale, it's basically double what the city of Pittsburgh has.
Okay.
But similar funding issues. If you know anything about the city of New Orleans, they are currently facing pretty big budget issues themselves. So
I'm sure, but they don't have snow plows like we need snow plows.
No,
They don't
sir.
have, their climate is much better than the city of Pittsburgh's as far as,
weather.
maintaining vehicles and, so.
I don't think Hurricane Katrina would.
What I'm asking you, I guess, and I don't need, you obviously can't have specific numbers, but did they have as much as us in non-target repairs like this?
Yes.
Did they?
Yes.
So you think it's normal, this amount, or is it because of our aging fleet?
Is the aging fleet.
It's the aging fleet. So they had an aging fleet
It's
like
not
ours.
It's not a locale or regional thing by any means. It is the age and shape of your fleet.
Right, and that's where we suffer. That's where we know we're way behind.
Exactly.
But New Orleans was also same
boat.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Do you know of any other cities? Is everybody in it? Does every city have outdated vehicles like us, or?
A lot of cities are in the same position that we are in. There are a lot of places a lot closer to Pittsburgh that are certainly fighting the same issues that we are.
Well, that's a little comforting. Not much,
we're not
but
the
a
only
little.
ones.
Right. So, okay, that's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second round, Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you. It's really no comfort, and we have the budget hearing tomorrow, do we not, for
Yes.
ELA? Okay,
See
so
you
we can
tomorrow.
reserve some of these questions for tomorrow, but I'll give you a kind of heads up on one of the questions I'm going to ask, which is, so of these, we think it's closer to 400 vehicles for this, 400,000. It's not 4 vehicles at 100,000 each that were not included in the humongous $78 million original contract. So, because they broke down on the road or whatever you said. And we often hear in the news, in our own controller's office, and here at the table, that the aging fleet is causing most of the breakdowns and the lack of service to constituents and the costs here in this maintenance contract. And I agree. But in our rush to allocate funds to buy new vehicles, what I remember from going in depth on this topic last year and in the briefings is that there are some new vehicles which are just as difficult to repair and out of service a lot. So I don't expect you to answer right now, but I think tomorrow, and keeping in front of us, let's be not foolish in new vehicles that we add to the fleet. So let's try to learn from the other cities that are buying new vehicles. And this is something the public might have heard of in terms of farmers, they're all mad at John Deere and boycotting because they buy these tractors and they can't repair them. And then they're forced into these very expensive contracts like this one because the new vehicles are so robotic or technical, and they always break, and you can't repair them yourselves. And there's a whole national issue called the right to repair. And so I'm wondering if there are lessons to learn about vehicles that are just, some of them are out of service and are overly large. So, right, because this is one of my pet peeves, right? And so hypothetically, you could have fewer personnel and cover bigger territory, but if it's out of service, you just have more territory not being serviced. So it's just like caveat, right? Like, yes, we all agree the aging fleet is costing us a lot of money. When I say aging, I mean, we're talking vehicles that should have been retired a long time ago, right? And we're still running them, and it's unsafe for personnel, it's unsafe and unreliable for operations. But if we can allocate some time, not right here today, into keeping our eye on that, like, let's not spend a whole bunch of money on vehicles, expecting them to now be like perfectly in service and cheaper to maintain, because that's just not true. So just a caveat there. Not all of them are gonna eliminate this maintenance issue. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kale-Smith.
Just a brief question. Does this contract include any work on electric vehicles?
Yes.
It does. Okay. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilman Coghill.
I just, one thing. So we are spending over $13 million a year in keeping up on our vehicles. Is that right?
Yeah.
It seems incredibly high. It really does. I mean, I'm going to approve this today, but yeah, I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow. $13 million a year. That's a lot of money. Can't imagine. And you have like a list. You have receipts for all the work they've done.
Yes,
yeah, right,
yes.
right.
Every repair receipt.
Yeah. See,
Absolutely.
that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about last week, and I'm sorry I had to cancel. But yeah, it's just incredible amount of money. Okay, we'll deal with that. You know, I'm of course on the board, so we'll talk further as to. I don't expect you to know all these numbers. It's just like eye-popping numbers for us because, and again, partly this not only this administration, past administrations, not keeping up. The only way to bring this cost down is, number one, renegotiate the contract, maybe, if they're willing to. The other thing is you have to buy all new vehicles, right? I mean, if we bought all new vehicles, this would not even be close to this number.
If we could reduce our amount of vehicles that have exceeded their life cycle,
right,
that number would go down.
That thing would cut in half, right?
Depending on how many we actually replaced. But
Yeah,
yes, if we were to replace them
Yeah.
all in one, then yes, that number would drastically reduce.
Drastically, right? I mean,
yes.
So, okay, that's it, Madam Chair.
One more thing.
Thank you. And then I have a question.
Just real
Councilwoman
quick.
Kale-Smith.
I just want to make sure for the public, there was an RFP for this. Although it's not a great contract, it was the best of the ones that responded.
Yes.
I just want to make sure the public understands that
Yes,
we did
this was
that.
a publicly bid contract.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess my question, I know the answer, but there was some back and forth with that council members were copied on around the applied the cost savings from 2024 having been applied to, rather than actually like getting money back, they were applied, about 687,000 applied to the non-contract expenses for like August and September. And we still need TransDev to send us that invoice so we can account for that, it sounds like. So I know we are waiting on that, but we need TransDev to send us that so we have a full accounting of where the money that we were owed was applied. So that's one thing. But I know that we need to approve this today so that we can have the accounting and the invoice for the November 14th invoice. So it is important that we approve this today. But yes, I agree with council members. This is just like putting a Band-Aid on a huge bleed, and we need to upgrade our vehicles and stop repairing 25-year-old vehicles. So that's going to be the only solution here. But is there anything else that you wanted to clarify with that sort of question, the back and forth question around where the
no, that
previous
information
year
is accurate. The cost
Okay.
savings,
Cost savings were
totals 687, 124. We currently owe $589,548. Transferring this $400,000 from fuel would still leave us with a balance of $189,548. That,
We'll just have to pay next quarter?
well, yes,
Okay.
we will roll into 26.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Appreciate, you don't have an easy job right now, but appreciate you always answering our questions and being
Wanna
upfront
keep
about
fighting.
where our situation is. So, any further discussion? Yeah, Councilman
Just
Kilsmith.
clarification, you're waiting for an invoice? Explain that to me, because I'm not sure if I want to vote for it or hold it.
Yes, ma'am. This is an internal TransDev issue that they are working through as far as providing the invoices requested. I believe it's just a time consideration.
So it's my understanding that we get 80% back after the year's end of cost savings. And it was voted on by the, I don't know if it was the ELA or the committee, at the TransDev cost savings meeting to apply that to future invoices. So it was applied, the savings of $687,000 or so was applied to the invoice that was received in August for, for this year's non-target costs. But we need TransDev to send us that.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm
I just
trying
wanted to
I'm
daylight
still
that for everyone. We need
Okay, I'll
them to be
abstain
better
today.
about
Thank you.
telling us where this is being applied.
Thank you.
It's not on the city internally.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That's why I'm thinking, why are we giving them money?
No, it's been applied. We're just waiting for the official credit, but the official statement. But we are still waiting for that. The request has been made as early as this week, or recently as this week.
So we'll be looking out for that. Okay. Thank you. Anything further? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2519, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Weak
One
eye.
abstention. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a begrudging eye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2545.
Resolution authorizing
Thank you.
the council president to approve legal service requests made by individual council members, subject to limited delegation of authority.
Motion to approve discussion?
Second.
Second with discussion, Councilman Wilson.
Thanks. So this relates to council's interest in having its own solicitor, and so those services will be they'll be dealt with through an RFP, and this would allow. So, for instance, this would allow members to get approval to seek legal advice or legislative advice without having to do a resolution for each individual request due to the charter saying the council has to, this promotes city council to retain its own legal counsel, but has to represent council in, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Anyway, just that the charter requires it to act as a body. And so we could do this resolution, or we could do individual resolutions for every time
You could hire one.
there's a request from a council member. So the idea is that this will be
That's my question.
this legislation would
question.
authorize
You answering? You asking it?
the limited delegation to the council president to then allow individual members to do requests without legislation each time. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Warwick.
Yeah, so interrogatory, is that, yeah, so, okay, so, because we had talked about this before, so let's say I wanted, whatever, I'm writing a piece of legislation, and I want some advice from a municipal law expert. Or would I have to run that through council leadership, or could I just go directly to, two questions. So one is that would we have a solicitor, or would we be like contracting out a law firm, or either, or is that not defined?
I guess technically a bill like this could make it so they would be like through an outside firm with, through an RFP or internal, but this piece of legislation does identify, I believe it identifies the RFP that would happen, but so that would be outside counsel, and then, the approval will be authorized by the council president.
Okay, so our understanding then is that the charter currently says, see, I mean, I would like to have an in-house solicitor, right? I feel like it is a useful role. I mean, because we're the legislative body, but I would also want that person to help with writing, if I want to write a piece of legislation, just because
The clerk's office
oftentimes it is, I mean, you can go to city law, right? But at least in my experience, and this is not I know they have lots of work that they're doing, right? But what I have found is what's necessary is for my office to write a draft of something, and then it goes to law and to sort of get, examine, does this work, what doesn't work. And it would be nice to have a solicitor in-house who we could just go to and say, this is what I want to do. Can you write this piece of legislation for me? And then we would be confident that the initial draft that, that I was sending over to city law had already been vetted by a municipal law expert. So the idea then would be that we'd have to go to the council president each time.
Either way, you'd have to. Either way, if it was in-house or outside of the way the charter is set up.
Because my experience, and I'll speak for myself, the experience that we had prior when we did have a solicitor was, or my experience was that often I don't know if that was a personnel issue or not, but it didn't feel like that was available when we had an in-house solicitor.
Because of this?
That the solicitor wasn't willing to assist on those things.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, please, yeah.
My understanding was because the solicitor at the time continued to reference this part of the charter.
Okay. And then do we have an idea, does leadership have an idea of like what the preference is, whether it's contracting it out or something? So I'm sort of...
Can I respond?
Yeah, please, yeah.
This came out of discussions with several members, and I was open to having a conversation with anyone, and sent an email, I think it was a couple weeks ago, with the RFP and also this amendment. I'm sorry, this resolution. So willing to continue to discuss this with anyone that wants to talk about it. But this came out of discussions, but also the realization that council has staff. Like we have council-wide staff, and members are hesitant to use some council-wide staff because of several reasons. And so to contract this out may ease some of those hesitations. And also the amount that we allocated per year, I believe, isn't enough to fully contract. To hire a solicitor to be qualified.
A qualified person.
And to contract this out, we could get other experience within that law firm.
Yeah.
Than just from one.
So I'm definitely supportive of adjusting so that we can use, right, so that we, as our offices, I mean, even if it means going through the council president, I mean, hopefully that would just be a quick, like, hey, can we
that would be a process
email,
we'd set up.
Right, like just a quick email. And I know this is maybe down the road, but just since we're talking about it, it's twofold. On the one hand, I very much would like to be able, it's nice, with, I think of like Budget Director McDevitt, right? It's very nice to just have somebody on council staff that you can just shoot a text to and get something done like immediately, right? That is great. So sort of going through a law, you know what I mean? Like whatever that process is, and having to wait, and there feels like there would most definitely be some type of, more roadblocks there to just kind of getting someone in the room and figuring out what you want to do. On the other hand, right, if you get somebody that isn't, doesn't work well with your office, or whatever issues can come up with individuals and, sort of personnel issues, I'll say, those are harder to deal with. I don't know. I'm definitely of two minds on that, but I'll be interested for the conversation going forward. But I'm supportive of this concept. Thanks.
Thank you.
We have Councilwoman Kale Smith.
No, I just think that there's a lot to be said, honestly. I love the idea of having an attorney. I'm not going to be here, so I'm trying to understand what it is council wants to accomplish for next year. And for me, it was having an attorney in-house that could do all the things that we need to have done. But when I first started, it was the clerk's office that helped write legislation. They had somebody in the clerk's office, do you remember? And they had somebody in the clerk's office. So I think, really what I think is that you need to rethink the budget office and we keep talking about being the Law and Finance Committee, somehow maybe structuring that so that Law and Finance is one, and then when you're hiring people in the clerk's office or training people in the clerk's office to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, so you have multiple people able to help you with legislation. But I also think council needs to be open to hearing, I think sometimes we want people to tell us how to get around the law instead of just necessarily always following the law. So I think it would be good to make sure you're really clear about what our expectations are. But I would, if I were all of you, I would hold it until, and I don't want to, this councilman's legislation, but my thought would be hold it until you can restructure, sit down and have a conversation about, Council President Lavelle had mentioned several times that he would like to see like Law and Finance in our budget office. So if there's some way you could structure that would be together. So things like the P card incident doesn't occur again and again and again. It's occurred several times this year, and I keep asking who's responsible for reviewing this, and I keep getting different answers or answers but no names, and nobody seems to be held accountable for the constant situation the council's put in. And I personally think that you need somebody for those things alone, just to go over the agenda, so to make sure that they're not putting us in a bad situation. So for me, I don't know how I'd vote today on this, but I think it definitely needs, I love the idea of it. I think it needs more structure and more conversations between what you expect from your budget office and what you expect from your clerk's office in the coming years. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Charland.
Yes, and I guess I'm probably asking for interrogatory here.
Interrogatory.
But Councilman Wilson, is this just for 1 year or is this indefinite? Is there a term on this? And you probably told us that, and unfortunately I just don't recall.
It doesn't specify an end date in the legislation.
Okay. Personally, I think this is a good idea. I think this is, I think there might be a world where this doesn't work and we can try something new, but I think for next year, I think this is a good idea for us to give a shot. I do think that council does need more legal advice than we often can have, and I think that I actually think this is a very good solution. This is usually what I believe most of our authorities are doing, and a lot of the other units use, to have a kind of outside counsel to be able to weigh in. So I do support this today, and if it doesn't work, we can try something different in the future. Thank you for your work on this.
All right, thanks. If I can just add, I just want to clarify something that this doesn't. This would work both ways, whether or not we RFP or not. It doesn't specify the RFP in the legislation. I know you weren't asking that, but I just wanted to.
No, thank you.
Thanks for your support.
Any further discussion? Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you. I do have the text of the legislation in front of me, and it does, as the councilman said, it doesn't specify kind of how outside counsel would be determined. So either, what law firms and with what skill sets, it's completely kind of vague. And I'm also asking my staff, where the money comes from. It says that doesn't exceed the annual budget allocation. But what is the budget allocation? And so I don't see if I have a response to that yet. And I actually think that's I understand the member putting this on the table, given that we've been told that requests for legal assistance had to only be for council as a body. But I don't think that's true. And so if you read the Home Rule Charter, I think that is a overly strict interpretation of what it says, because it literally says, may represent council as a body in legal proceedings. But nowhere does it say, council shall only ever have legal assistance as a body. It just doesn't say that. So I think that's an imaginatively restrictive interpretation of what the Home Rule Charter says. So I think council has the powers to retain an attorney or consultants. It says staff or consultants. And I think that part of the sentence applies to attorneys as well. So I think this is already within our ability to do. And we each of us have a budget in our offices, which kind of zeroes out at the end of the year, but then replenishes at the beginning of each year for professional services. Where we use that to do things like subscribe to the Pittsburgh Business Times. Or we're used to, it's kind of like our per diem, a per diem almost. Like we have to use that for a lot of things. Like, you want supplies for your office, you have to use that account line. But that is available for professional services. And keep in mind that municipal attorneys don't just, represent in legal proceedings, right? They absolutely advise, they absolutely, do policy work. There's a wide range of work that municipal attorneys do, interpreting state regulations or interpreting federal regulations, and so helps us craft better policy. So I'm a big fan of the municipal attorneys I've worked with. Sometimes we're lucky, our community groups get pro bono services from some of the big firms in town. And I totally understand us wanting to have, a clear path to be able to contract and have to pay for some services on an hourly basis if that's what's needed. But I think it's kind of already there. And so I don't object to this on its face. I think it's a totally separate debate whether we want to have as staff or as consulting services, because the way I read the Home Rule Charter, it's something we should have already been doing either way. But I guess I just have to chew on this a little bit. I don't want to set a different procedure in place for the way we already have checks and balances on our expenditures in our budget lines. And so that's just something I need to kind of read through and think through. So I don't think I'm prepared to say yes today. We did look at that. I had my staff look at it, and I feel like we're still kind of chewing on is this weird and different, or is it just the same as we're doing it? I haven't been able to figure that out yet. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And for Council President Lavelle.
Thank you. I'm supportive of this today. I agree with Councilwoman Gross. We absolutely have the right to retain an attorney, whether that's in-house or whether we retain a firm. That's a totally different discussion. We absolutely have that right, and I agree we absolutely should do it. I've advocated that for council ever since I've been here. What this does, though, it says, the way the charter reads is that anytime an individual member, wants to get specific legal advice, that the whole body has to approve you getting that. And so therefore in the past, we've had situations where a member wanted specific advice, but the attorney wasn't comfortable giving that, if not also then giving it to all members, or if not getting the approval. So what this would do would seek to simply clarify and say you could go to whomever the president of council was and say, I'm working on said issue. Is it okay if I engage our solicitor and or the firm on issue? And they can say, yes, that you're working on said issue, go do that. So this simply clarifies that ability as opposed to having to come to the body as a whole to seek that approval. So I'm supportive of it moving forward. But I absolutely do agree that we should absolutely return a firm or someone in-house. I probably think a firm makes a little more sense right now, but we can have, that's a separate discussion.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill.
Yep, I'm sorry, I had to step out. The only clarification I need, I'll be supportive of this today as well, but the only clarification I need, if I want to seek outside counsel, who pays for it? Where's the money come from? Does it come from as Councilman Gross was saying, per diem, or does it come from the general
Derogatory
fund, or what?
So we had initially allocated money for a city solicitor. We would need to, in our budgetary process this year, if we're going to retain a firm, simply change line items so that there would be a line item for a firm to be retained, and then that firm would draw down on that invoice every time they were engaged.
Okay, so it would not come from our office money
No.
then? Yeah. It would come from money that we set aside from having our prior
Yes.
attorney, which is how much, do we know?
Was it 110? I don't.
Okay.
I can get you the number. I don't
Okay.
recall the exact amount.
And I guess we cross this road, if we come to it, if I want legal services, but that money's exasperated by Councilman Charlin used up all that money for, his legal services, then
We would need to add more to
we
the
would
pot.
have to add more then, right? Okay.
Sort of like our postage.
Got it, yeah. Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Second round, Councilwoman Gross.
Yeah, again, just one note that one of the ways that our current staff struggle, I think, is when it's like we can read statute, we can read county code, we can read city code, we can read federal statute, but then we don't know court precedent a lot of times, right? And it's the people with a law background know maybe how courts have chimed in and thrown something out, or have chimed in and interpreted something in a strict way that's not the way you would think when you read it, just like I was just reading the Humboldt Charter, right? And so that's where a lot of times someone with a full law degree is incredibly helpful. But I would suggest that the way this is written, it appears like, and the way Council President suggested, is just to have it at the whim of whoever's president, could allocate the whole budget to just one member and one request at the beginning of a year, since it's not really that much money. And that's not typically the way we've worked, which is why we kind of, and the public may not know, because it's not like this in other bodies of government. Like, each city council member has exactly the same budget. Even the president, right, who has more duties, or the finance chair. We have exactly the same expenditures. We have exactly the same payroll as each other. There's no seniority pay or anything like that. And so maybe it makes sense to do some kind of distribution like that. So this is like extra professional services or legal services or something like that. So that we're not disadvantaging some members in their policy research or something like that. So just another suggestion. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2545, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain today.
2 abstentions.
I just want to talk to Councilman Wilson.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to invoices. Is there a motion on invoices?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of invoices, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Invoices are approved. Intra-departmental transfers. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of interdepartmental transfers, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Transfers are approved. That moves us to P cards. Is there a motion on P cards?
So moved.
Discussion?
Is there anything on this that we should be concerned with?
I have no notes from the budget office.
And who goes through the P cards? Who's been reviewing this? We've had 3 incidents with P cards. I want to make sure we're voting on something.
We are working, Council President and I are working on an answer to your specific questions that you asked by email last week, but I can answer this question right now. On our side, both our budget director and assistant budget director review.
But nobody with a law degree looked at it. So that might help Councilman Wilson's
Not on
case.
our side of the hallway. We're working to clarify that question for you and get an answer to your question.
Thank you. I'll abstain today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of P cards, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. 1 abstention. That moves us to Public Safety and Wellness Committee, chaired by Councilman Coghill.
Supplemental New Papers, Bill 2557. Resolution amending Resolution Number 959 of 2024, which authorized the mayor and director of the Department of Public Safety to enter on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh into an agreement or agreements with Humane Animal Rescue of Pittsburgh for detention, care, and/or euthanasia of domesticated animals by increasing the approved amount by $90,026.94 for an amended total cost not to exceed $2,370,299.94 over 3 years.
Motion to approve. Brief discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second with brief discussion, Councilman Coghill.
I just had a sidebar with the director. I really don't need to discuss it, but I thought maybe if anybody else needed to, I wanted to open it up because the directors are here.
Is there any discussion?
Could you just tell us why it's went up, increased so much?
I can't tell you, but I'm sure one of the directors could tell
I
you.
don't want to make a lengthy discussion.
Why it's increased so much?
Lengthy.
Yeah, come on up here, Director Schmidt.
Lee Schmidt, Public Safety Director. So the new contract has some additional fees for extended stays and for animals, exotic animals, higher than the prior contract did. So we knew there would be some increase, but we wanted to kind of flesh it out for the year before we got that sorted. So that's why this additional is, and there is money in the animal care and control budget to cover this additional fee, the additional $90,000
I'm just wondering why
added
there's
to the
so much
contract.
more.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is just, cost post-COVID, and then just things that the general, Humane Animal Rescue is the only shelter in the city that is big enough and fully licensed and has veterinarians and
Is there
everything.
like an RFP or something with this? Or no?
There was.
Okay.
They were the only respondent.
I just want to thank you, Director, publicly. I missed the public safety meeting. I want to thank you publicly for all that you've been doing for the city of Pittsburgh for several years now, and making sure that you work across the city of Pittsburgh. I want to thank you. You've done a great job. You're great communicating with us, and you've done a lot to help us in our area. So I want to thank you for that, for all
Thank
you've
you.
done for Pittsburgh. Okay. That's it, other than, I just wanted to know what the increased cost was. I still don't know that I really understand fully what it is, but I understand that there's a need for it.
Councilman Coghill.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to remind members, I think just a couple of years ago, we had the option we were going to fund and maybe build our own, I guess, what do we call it, detention center? Is that what we call it?
Would have been an animal shelter, yes.
Yeah, animal shelter, which would have, I can't remember the price tag on that, but we're roughly paying around $700,000 or so to the Humane Animal Rescue now, which they're the only act in town, so it's not like we could shop around and put out an RFP because there's only one respondent, right?
Well, we did put out an RFP to also Animal Friends, but they turned us down because they normally maintain at around 94% capacity. They just couldn't handle the number of animals that we bring to HAR on an annual basis.
Yeah, and the increased cost we said was mainly from their increased cost of exotic like snakes.
Well, it's more along the lines of them not having a
dragons?
place.
What's
Yeah,
going
it's
on?
more
Yeah.
along the lines of them not having places to send these animals, so they end up having to hang on to them longer. Increased costs for animals awaiting court cases.
Sure.
They have to hang on to those animals for a much longer time. Overall increase in cost because their costs themselves have also increased.
Right, and when we were discussing our own facility, we would have had to build it, right? We didn't have a.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
What we had put through was a request to do a feasibility study to determine exactly what it would cost the city to build their own, staff it, maintain it,
Right.
et cetera.
Perhaps over the long run, we may have saved a lot of money, but we would have to man that office anyway, or that facility. So
There's always a possibility too, we could renovate a current building.
Yeah.
We'd start
Well,
off
that's
small, we
right.
still would work with Humane Animal Rescue and Animal Friends. And then obviously, hopefully over time, actually build up to what we needed.
Right.
To where we weren't relying on them solely for everything that they do for us.
Sure. Okay, that's all for me. I'm approving, of course, because I don't think we have much of a choice. But yeah.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2557, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Thank you both.
Thank you.
That moves us to Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, chaired by Councilmember Warwick.
Supplemental papers, Bill 2574, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with Caliber Contracting Service, Inc. for costs associated with the construction of the Sawmill Run Salt Storage Facility and providing for payments not to exceed $6,907,813.31 over a period of 2 years.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
Just briefly, are we building a new salt dome here? Is
Yes.
that okay? That answers my question, then. Thank you.
Thank you.
51.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2574, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to 2521.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with Allegheny County with respect to salt storage, handling, and loading for the winter seasons of 2025 through 2026, 2026 through 2027, and 2027 through 2028, November 1st to March 31st of each year, at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2521, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2522.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with Tree Pittsburgh to support seasonal tree care in an amount not to exceed $25,000 over a period of 1 year.
Motion to approve?
Yeah.
Second.
I don't give a damn.
Discussion?
Is this the one for Tree Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could we have somebody come to the table, please?
It's $25,000.
I know. They also got $8 million.
From the federal government.
What in the world? What happened?
Chris Hornstein, Director of Public Works.
Lisa Chalk, City Forester, Department of Public Works.
Thank you. Do you mind? No. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to make sure because locally. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about this with Tree Pittsburgh. And I know they received, was it $8 million for grant funding or something prior to this to plant a lot of trees in the city of Pittsburgh. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm fed up with watching all the tree planting and no maintenance in the city of Pittsburgh. Lisa works with a shoestring budget, with very few staff, very poor old equipment, and yet I'm watching more and more trees being planted and nobody's maintaining them. So what we see on Grandview Avenue is the trees coming down, which causes the landslides, which can also contribute to the landslides, I should say. And the residents wanted to have their view preserved as well. So I've asked about this question now for, a couple years now, and it continues. And so I know that there's a lot of things happening, politically. I don't care. I want to know what's happening with this money. And plus, I also want to know what Tree Pittsburgh's getting the money for. Is this more tree planting? And who's doing the maintenance of those trees? Who maintains them after they plant them? And are they volunteers that they're getting paid money, but then they're getting volunteers to come do the plantings with them? So there's just a lot of questions I have about this whole process. Because I'll be honest with you, everybody complains because we question, Stop the Violence funding, because we question all the kinds of other, well, every time Tree Pittsburgh or Parks Conservancy comes up here, everybody wants to say, go ahead and give them a green light. Well, that's great, but this side of town wants to know what's happening with our trees. So you want to go?
Actually, Lisa,
thank
go
you.
ahead, yeah.
So just to clarify, the $8 million IRA grant was not specifically for the entire city of Pittsburgh. It was for the Pittsburgh region. So there's a lot of funding that goes out to lots of other municipalities, not necessarily the city of Pittsburgh. And money's come through Tree Pittsburgh, and they're funneled out to other agencies like Land Force and the trails programs that we have, Friends of the Riverfront, all those different groups. There's in the Canopy Alliance, there's probably about 20 different partner agencies, so it's not all specifically to Tree Pittsburgh. And as far as the tree planting, we do get our tree planting funding mostly from the Conservancy, the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, and the program does include a lot of volunteers, and Tree Pittsburgh is that entity that helps support that training of the volunteers that go out and do the tree planting. And specifically, once the trees are put into the ground, the issue that we have at forestry is that the young trees need to be trained. Basically, they have to have structural training, you have to prune the trees, and this is where this group comes in to help us do that. The structural training, mulching, weeding, watering to get the trees established. It's usually for the first 7 years of life because we don't normally touch trees that are that much smaller. In our regular maintenance that we do across the city, we deal with trees that are usually 12 inches in diameter and larger. So for us to do all the training, pruning on the younger trees would be a real burden for the forestry division. So we rely on the support of volunteers through Tree Pittsburgh and then through job training, through the Land Force and through the Student Conservation Association participates in an 8-week program through the summertime and the fall to do the training pruning under the guise of trained arborists as a workforce development program. So it's a lot more than just, funding the tree planting. We don't do the tree planting typically at our division. We're planting hundreds and hundreds of trees across the city to replace the trees that we're losing, and this is just a partner organization that's been helping us do that.
So I'm going to say this. First of all, I'm a certified tree tender, so it's not that I'm opposed to having trees, right, but I'm also opposed to not maintaining trees. And I'm also opposed to us using our tax dollars to fund organizations repeatedly. Year after year, our dollars go to help people. And you can say they're helping us all we want. We can get our own volunteers. We don't need, no, we can, I've done it. So please don't, you can't even add anything to it. We can get our own volunteers to do what we want. And so when it comes time, and I feel like Tree Pittsburgh has been very, this past year, they were doing things and not very communicative with our council office. Mm-hmm. So, and I get it, they're playing politics like everybody else, but if you're going to play politics, so am I. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to vote no today on this, but I think when I have my post-agenda about the nonprofits and the city of Pittsburgh, we'll make sure we discuss this in depth. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you. So I'm supportive of this bill, and what I've observed is that we know our forestry department is understaffed, undersupplied, and under-resourced, right? And I think this is a core city service, that land management is incredibly important. If we don't manage it well, we do get landslides. If we don't manage it well, we do get, increased heat and tree loss in certain neighborhoods. If we don't manage it well, we really lose our even recreational park land to invasives, and the areas that were accessible become like inaccessible because we're not managing trees. So if we could allocate all those resources and funds, and God knows that it seems like it's not been restored since Act 47, right? The capacities at forestry, and that department in forestry office has worked really hard at creating that network of support for a long time now. So I'm appreciative of Councilwoman Smith's vigilance. I have been on the same side with her on many of the bills about nonprofits and certainly Parks Conservancy and things like that. I think it's right for us to be really, really vigilant to make sure that we are getting adding resources and not losing resources that don't benefit our core city services and the operations that residents expect. But this one, I think we're definitely getting our bang for the buck, so to speak. So I appreciate the work, and I know that they are pulling in, like I've seen my residents like picking up trees. We know that we've requested trees for city property that they've raised, that like they grow the trees, right? And they get the grant separately. So it does feel to me additive that we're getting a nonprofit partner who is bringing us resources. And so I feel like this is definitely a very reasonable agreement. So I appreciate your work. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second round, Councilwoman Cale Smith.
Thank you. I just want to say part of land maintenance is maintaining the trees. It's great you want to get all the credit for planting trees, but they have to either help you maintain those trees or they have to work with our council offices and with some of the issues that we're having. And there's a lot of issues. And I'm so fed up with seeing Grandview Avenue and the way that looks. I mean, and when I'm sure when the draft comes, the trees will be trimmed, the place will look great. But meanwhile, there are residents that live up there every single day that are waiting for their view to be restored. They're waiting for some other things to happen there. So, and I know that you've done some of the tree trimming there, but they want that view restored. And I think we really need to look at planting trees along that entire area that are more appropriate for a hillside. I mean, they're pulling down the hillside, and we're going to be paying for, because we didn't maintain the trees, we're going to be paying for probably some type of land, for the landslide that might occur. We'll have to be paying for some restoration. And I'm just appalled that we've allowed it to happen for this long. And Tree Pittsburgh, I'm appalled that it's great you want to plant trees, but tell us how you're going to help us maintain those trees. We have a lot of trees on sidewalks with elderly people that they're not allowed to cut the trees, and they don't have the money to replace the trees or to prune the trees or to do the things that need to happen there. And yet they're stuck with decisions that were made by organizations like this, because they run the city of Pittsburgh. These organizations run the city of Pittsburgh. And so for me, it's great that you want to help and we want them to be partners, but it has to be that we think of our residents and our taxpayers first. That's it for me. Thank you. I'll vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To what Councilwoman Cale Smith is saying, I remember when there was Guy Costa at the time, cemented that whole hillside. It was just crazy looking. But what about like crown vetch? I mean, shouldn't that be on a hillside like that?
It's an invasive species. I think to kind of some of the Councilwoman's concerns, they've done a lot of tree care in 2025. This resolution in front of council today is specifically for seasonal tree care for a year in the amount. This year they touched over 1,000 trees with pruning, mulching, weeding, again, thousands of trees addressed with their volunteer activity every year. So I agree with the accountability measures. I think that is important. I think that's important for all the activities that we do, whether they be nonprofit or contractor. I mean, those are just important measures to protect taxpayer dollars. But some of the concerns about using things like crown vetch is that's an invasive species. It's probably not going to provide stability to the hillside. I think Grandview Avenue is one of the unique cases in the city and requires extra special attention, Councilwoman. And I know you're passionate about it. I know the residents there are passionate about it. And we're going to continue to support them as best we can.
Do you mind if I ask about the salt dome?
No, just go ahead.
Okay.
While you're at it.
It's your district. I tread lightly in your district, but I have to see it every day. So, the salt dome. Okay, $6 million. Correct.
Yes.
Okay, we're planning to do that work when?
Next year.
Next year.
Yes.
Money's already accounted for.
Correct.
Monies came from our capital budget, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah, all of it.
Correct.
Okay, I look at that salt dome. I hate it, and it's just a not big eyesore. This salt dome is going to be a wooden structure.
Yes.
The new one.
Yes.
And the years that it will last is how many approximately do we expect the lifespan of that?
I mean, it's wood, but it's under salt. I don't expect a 50-year to 100-year lifespan.
And the current dome,
maintenance.
I always thought to myself, if we just painted it, right? Is the current dome unrepairable? Is it leaking? And so what is the problem with the current?
The current dome is leaking. We've had structural assessments done on it in the past, and all indications are, quickly deteriorating. It's not the only dome that we have, but it is the largest and the most heavily used. It supports your in the town, supports District 3, your district councilperson, councilwoman, your district as well.
Too, all of us,
And so it's a significant asset that's quickly deteriorating. We've had one dome that is closed and shuttered that we no longer use because of structural defects. We've done patch and replace on 2 of the other domes to keep them in good running condition. But this is from a snow perspective, this services roughly half of the city.
Right.
And we can't afford to lose this.
Got it.
Down
So,
at all.
in your opinion, it needs to be replaced.
It needs to be replaced. Yeah, we
can't
can't
throw a coat of paint on it, pretty it up.
No, we
save
cannot
the $6 million.
We can't afford to risk it.
Got it.
We cannot.
Got it. Okay, and Lisa, I just wanted to thank you. I know years ago you needed more funding, and I don't know how you get by, especially with that storm that we had last year. Or was it this year? I don't remember.
This year.
Was that this year? So you do an incredible job. I try not to call on you because I know you're so backlogged.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do call on you for emergency situations, you always manage to get it done. So I just wanted to thank you for
Yeah, it'd be nice if she had some extra help and some money.
Well, I do want to say, just
Yeah.
for clarity, that every tree that we plant gets a tree request form. So we don't just randomly, willy-nilly plant trees. There's a lot of thought that goes into when we plant a tree, where we plant a tree, and we always get the adjacent property owner's permission. That's the first thing. And secondly...
Well, that's now.
No, that's always been...
You did that 40 years ago? You weren't even here.
Well, for the past almost since 2008, since we've been here,
But I'm saying that there's people that have trees in front of their home. that we
Understood.
don't know. Okay.
And we're making those changes and making sure that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. So when we plant trees going forward, we're not going to have those issues. And, in respect to Mount Washington, the reason why it was cemented was because of your prior forester cleared the hillside.
Yeah.
And we're not engineers, and we've been working together with Public Works to make sure that we do what we can do. And it's not up to our nonprofits to maintain these areas. It's up to the city's forestry department. And if we didn't have our nonprofits planting trees, helping us maintain trees, doing what they're doing, we wouldn't be in the situation we are right now, where we have one of the best urban canopies going. We have a great plan that you're going to be seeing a lot more of. And, it's all about partnerships. So I'm going to promote as much as I can, to get those people to continue to help us, because I don't think we would be where we're at without them.
Right. And Lisa, I would say to you, no matter who visits me from out of town, first thing they always say is it's about our canopy. They love the green, the trees, the hills. It's always
Where
their
it's
first
eroded the
impression.
most, right? In District 2.
That's right. You're
Yeah,
right.
Is that right? Yeah. The other thing was, thanks for the wood chips. I can get as much as that as I want, right?
That's right.
Because I called you on Councilwoman Gross, and I have an orchard, and you delivered. It was a big pile, and it was great, and it's kept the weeds down. I'm ready for another order, but that's like as much as I need, I can get. Is that right? Is that right?
That's correct.
That's like
that's what the chipper's
right,
for. We chip
right.
trees every day, and rather than putting in the landfills, we
No,
distribute them to the community gardens, to whoever
that was
needs
like
them,
gold.
or wherever.
I was there for about 3 days shoveling it.
Yeah. Careful what you wish for. Right.
right. No, but that really worked out well. And,
Right.
so I'll just call you and order another dump load of chips in the
Yep.
spring, all right?
Let us know.
All right, good deal.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Kayla Smith.
Yeah, I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to talk about the salt dome. The other salt dome in Elliott, that's one that Bessie Miller is constantly asking about. She wanted to put a sponsorship up on there. Remember, with Dick's Sporting Goods or something? She wanted to paint like a baseball, because it's on the baseball, off of the baseball field. So I'm just wondering, is that in good condition too, or is that?
That is the one that is closed for structural
It's not
defects. That's the
closed.
one that's located at
Fifth Division?
The Fifth Division, yes.
Herschel. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So is there any plans for that?
Yes, some of the division locations where we have the salt dome there, that's part of our consent order agreement with the DEP regarding how we manage waste. That will create opportunities for us to reconfigure the lots. And so we're keeping those we're keeping them as functional, but we closed the 5th Division Salt Dome, I believe, in 2018 due to structural defects. I mean, you can literally look up and see daylight through it. So it was a concern there, unsafe for people to be working in it.
Thank you, and I do want to thank you, Director, for the work that you do. You do in our district. I know you're working around a lot of obstacles, but I can thank you very much for what you have done. And Lisa, I do appreciate everything you've done, but I'm going to disagree that if they want to plant trees, there has to be some maintenance plan in place. And if it's us maintaining them, then we have to make sure we're planting what we can maintain. And you don't have a lot of resources, and you don't have a lot of help, so I do appreciate that you always respond. But the bottom line is, I'm okay with planting trees. I do it all the time. I've planted them on a trail. I've done all sorts of things. And like I said, I'm a tree tender. But I do think that they have not been a good partner of the past year or so. And I definitely don't think that they have any concern about what happens once they plant the trees. The concern, it seems to me that their concern is mostly maintaining the organization. And for me, I want to see more than just that. I want to see that there's also some plan and some communication. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Thank you. Any for Councilman Coghill?
Just one real other quick question. The new salt dome on Route 51, is it just for salt, or can we store mulch, or is it other compartments in there? Or
It's
is it
just for salt.
All
It's
salt.
just all salt. All salt all the
Okay,
time.
Good
Yes.
deal. Yeah. So we're doing it, starting it this spring, summer.
Correct.
Okay. How long of a process is it before?
Contract specifies that they get done by
winter.
By October
Right?
1st. Yes. No.
Okay. So maybe 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving train.
Yeah. So obviously we're doing it in the spring, summer. That way we don't need the salt there, but the dome that's there will be demoed.
Correct.
And it will be built in the same spot, or?
It's reoriented. You can find those online on Engage
Yeah,
PGAs.
right. But that's already all worked out.
Correct.
Okay. Good deal. Thanks.
Okay. Any further discussion? Member Warwick.
I just wanted to say thank you for, the work with the snowfall
Oh,
the other
absolutely.
day. I had very few calls. I don't know if I can't speak that. I had very few calls, so I appreciate that. And I had some happy calls from 31st Ward, which was nice. People saying, "Oh, we got out there early." So thank you for that, and to your team. Yeah.
Thank you. All those in favor of Bill 2522, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. 1 no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill 2523.
Resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, and right-of-way phases of the Corley Street Bridge project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $1,590,000, an increase of $800,000 from the previously executed agreement. This resolution serves to authorize only the amended reimbursement agreement or agreements at no cost to the City of Pittsburgh. Future resolutions will authorize the project-specific service agreements.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2523, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2524.
Resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, and right-of-way phases of the Calera Street Bridge project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $1,384,000, an increase of $750,000 from the previously executed agreement. This resolution serves to authorize only the amended reimbursement agreement or agreements at no cost to the City of Pittsburgh. Future resolutions will authorize the project-specific service agreements.
Motion to approve?
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2524, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2525.
Resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, and right-of-way phases of the California Avenue Bridge project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $3,120,000, an increase of $2,100,000 from the previously executed agreement. This resolution serves to authorize only the amended reimbursement agreement or agreements at no cost to the City of Pittsburgh. Future resolutions will authorize the project-specific service agreements.
Motion to approve.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2525, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Madam Clerk, can we please read Bill 2527 along with Bill 2591 on page 14? Which is under a different committee, we'll note.
Bill 2527, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning to enter into an agreement or agreements with Kistler Studio LLC for the creation and installation of public art in the Hazelwood neighborhood at a total cost not to exceed $120,000. And Bill 2591, resolution amending resolution number 857 of 2023, effective December 27th, 2023, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2024 Capital Budget, the proposed 2024 Community Development Program, and the 2024 through 2029 Capital Improvement Program by amending war memorials and public art deliverables.
So, motion to approve. Discussion.
Second.
Second with discussion, Councilmember Warwick.
Yeah, so as most folks here, are aware, we changed the percent for art program, right? So the program used to be that a given project, that 1% of the budget of a given project went to art, which resulted in just sort of a small little thing of art being done where art wasn't necessarily needed or appropriate or whatever, right? And so the change to the program was to instead dedicate 1%, I believe, of the total capital budget to art in general. And then neighborhoods would be chosen over, periodically for art. And an RFP would go out for an artist to, then I guess work with the community or whatever, figure out where that art would go, right? Where that art budget would go in a given neighborhood. At any rate, so the Hazelwood neighborhood was sort of up for this percent for art allocation, and the allocation being $120,000. So, if members have questions, I'm happy to have the city planning team come up, but just to give I'll just sort of kind of gently say that an RFP went out for an artist to do art in Hazelwood with what I do not think was enough community input. There was a committee of my understanding of 2 people, an artist, and at the same time, in Hazelwood, there is a very big project that has been on the books for a number of years. It's Lewis Playground. It's a big playground. It's right at the entrance of Hazelwood. And part of the reason that the project has been on the books for so long and is so complicated is because there's a very large retaining wall that encircles the playground, and that needs to be repaired. So at any rate, after a number of years of kind of gathering various monies together for this, it is in this upcoming budget. And this very large retaining wall, which is painted now but is very dirty and whatever, is really an ideal place for public art, right? It's this giant retaining wall. It's right at the entrance of the neighborhood. But in the discussion around the RFP for this artist, and again, I'm not familiar with the I don't know the artist or whatever, it's an artist out of Ohio, but looking at their work, it appears from what I can see to be large-scale sculptures that would go, like sculptures and like hanging art, sort of Calder-esque, like hanging pieces that are indoors, large sculptures that would go like in a public square. I don't know how this committee chose this artist, but we don't have any public squares like that in Hazelwood that sort of seem, and there's no indoor spaces that we would be doing this art. So at any rate, but what we do need is, we have this large playground project, and it would be very nice to have some nice art in that along this retaining wall. So I couldn't get a guarantee from our city planning folks that I could count on this money going toward the Lewis Playground project and doing some type of artwork on that wall. So the bill 2591 is to reallocate the $120,000 from just general art in Hazelwood overall, specifically to Lewis Playground. So I would appreciate member support on that one. And for Bill 2527, I am not supportive, simply because looking at this artist's website, and it's very nice, the work is very nice, but it's neither conducive to any public space in Hazelwood that I know of, at least just looking at her portfolio or their portfolio online, and is certainly not conducive to what could be put on a wall on this playground. And so I'll leave it at that. If members have questions for the planning department, I think that I will say, I think going forward with this program, city planning would be advised to talk with the council member prior to engaging on an RFP, certainly of this nature, talking about art and a community, whatever, because not only was the committee, there were 3 seats on the committee, but only 2 were filled. There was not much public engagement through the Engage page, and I know that, we have some wonderful art in Hazelwood that has lots of public engagement around it, some really, not city pieces necessarily, but, just on various walls of buildings and things like that. It is a community that is very engaged on, in and around the arts, and I feel like I feel like had my office been consulted from the get-go, this issue of Lewis Playground being a project that was in the works, that was absolutely going to need something, at least then would have been taken into consideration in the choice of, in that RFP, was sort of the understanding that we were, in the very near future going to be doing a giant retaining wall project at the entrance of the neighborhood. So I know it's frustrating for the city planning team, but I do feel like in terms of choosing the artist for these funds, that I'd like those funds to get allocated specifically to Lewis Playground. So that's the one bill 2591. But that as far as the RFP for the artists themselves, I think that we need to go back to the drawing board on that and do more public engagement, and also do an RFP that keeps that has that playground in mind. So I'm looking for so I am voting no on 2527. No, I would just like to vote 2527 down if my colleagues are amenable, and then 2591 vote yes, which that allocates the funding for the arts specifically to Lewis Playground. And if it ends up being more than is needed for whatever ends up happening then we can do some other nice art in Hazelwood with it. So.
Thank you. They have been read together. We will do a roll call vote. Are there any other comments or questions from members? Council President Lavelle.
Just point of clarity, make sure I understand. Your 2291 is effectively reallocating the money from 2527 to a specific project.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilman Wilson.
Yeah, just for clarity, so the ask is to vote down 2527, but to continue with 2591.
Right.
To vote, yeah, so no on 2527 and yes on 2591. I would
And the
appreciate
reason
that.
for 2527 is that
Is so the artist that was, and again, this is just me like making a judgment call. But looking at the artist's portfolio and knowing the art that is needed, it just, again, it's lovely work, but it is large abstract sculptures, the type of which would go into a public square, and also sort of like hanging sculptures that sort of like, I'll say like Calder-esque kind of abstract hanging sculptures, and just not, I mean, I don't want to put a judgment on an artist that I don't know, but is not something where I'd be like, oh, this person is, really experienced with outdoor work on walls.
Okay. Yeah, I just wonder how since we did vote for this, and I know we spoke about this, I just wonder how this, number one, like how the decision was made to where we are spending money in the city, because it's what it accumulates the 1% of each project into a bucket, and then I don't know how that's distributed. Why is it that it's one neighborhood's like, are they just going neighborhood by neighborhood to put the money, or is there like a committee that decides where that goes?
I'm happy for I know that other neighborhoods, I think maybe Beachview had one, and so, but I'm happy for the.
Yeah, like how does that?
Planners
Yeah,
are here
I'd like to know
discuss.
more about.
Yeah, sure, of course, the plan team's here.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we
I do.
even talking
I
about
do.
it?
I understand. Like why Hazelwood? Why Beachview? How
Not
does
that
that?
it shouldn't get it. I'm just
right.
wondering
Just how does it work?
We were special, from what I understand.
how much money's in the pot? Like,
Right. Got it. Yeah.
Good morning, Kevin Kunak, City So, I guess to answer your question, when the code was changed to change the code from project-based, as the council member described, to capital budget-based, a selection of, I believe, 6 neighborhoods were identified by my predecessors using regions of the city, neighborhoods that lacked perhaps art. Those initial outlays were Beachview, the Greater Hill District, Hazelwood, Manchester, and Larimer. So that was the initial package. So this year's proposal for the budget is Larimer. The current year for 2025 is Manchester. And then in 2023, Beachview, Hazelwood, Upper Hill District. And then as part of that, as part of the ARPA funding, the university line as well, that touches like 3 neighborhoods along the line.
So you're chipping away at the ones that were identified.
Yes. So
then-
Larimer is the last one identified, and that's an opportunity to kind of maybe potentially
the other
revisit.
Like Manchester already got public.
Manchester's been allocated for this year, and we've done our kind of preliminary engagement within the neighborhood, but we haven't issued the call for artists yet.
Okay, good to know. And then if we vote this down, do you just re-up the RFP? How does that?
That's an excellent question. I haven't been placed in this position before.
Okay.
So I would note that typically the artists that we recommend and support, are excellent creative types that are, free thinkers and are up to challenges and meet those challenges and, explore these opportunities for for creative expression. So, for example, in Beachview, the artist that was selected, Randy with an eye for design, does a lot of asphalt art and murals. The project for Beachview currently is proposed to be, a metal ironwork sculpture attached to the side of a building. Artists that we've selected as art and parks are also kind of, weren't familiar with like sculptures, and in Highland Park at Flora is, like an amazing piece of work that the artist has never explored before. So, I would, say like we, typically at city planning, we're not necessarily prejudging what the output of that artist will be. That is guided by the community. It's guided by city planning, DOMI, and DPW about challenges of different sites. But, we don't enter into, we don't enter into like judgments of what the ultimate outcome may be from the artist engagement with different sites and community members. So.
And then with the Davis Avenue Bridge, where did that money come from for the art for that one?
That's a good question. I believe that was like a %.
That was Andrew Dash, Deputy Director. That was a % for art under the old program. Where that was specifically tied to, because before project budgets for DOMI, DPW had to have % for art specifically, in the project that they designed. And, the problems with that approach were part of the reason to update the code and change to this way of moving forward with % for art projects.
As an example, for Davis Avenue Bridge, that was that art was just installed last week.
Yeah.
Right. And so another example is Homewood Park. That I think is a still ongoing DPW project. Those artists were selected, I think, in 2022, 2023, and that art is still not installed just due to just the complexity of construction projects. So that was also one of the reasons our predecessors, came to council with to update the code from project-based to overall budget-based.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kevin, I'm very conscious as to what we put in art, whatever it be a mural, whether it be iron, where it goes. Ideally, we want to keep it and put it on public property, correct?
Correct.
Okay. We're finding spaces. We're looking for spaces in Beachview. I just want to be clear about something, okay? I have a mural across from it's on PRT property. Okay, it was done years ago before I was even in office, and there was some controversy as to not on that specific location. Although now that's graffiti covered, I don't like it. Nobody really likes it. I don't even know who approved this design. To be honest with you, it's not art to me. Then there was a case where some artist said, "Oh, you can't paint over my art," or something of that need. We have all rights as a city of Pittsburgh. If we choose to eliminate that art, that will be in the contract, correct? I mean, there is no, oh, this is my artwork and you can't do anything with it, right?
Correct. For city-sponsored art on city-owned property, there's a VERA waiver that is completed when the work is accepted that allows us to.
Right. Obviously, I want to have community engagement as to what Randy comes up with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I want the buy-in to be there, so we don't have to go through that. So I don't have to be like, let's get this so-called artwork out of here. I haven't had much engagement as of late, though. So where is it with Randy, and where's the process at right now?
Thank you. Good question. So following up our last kind of community engagement meeting, I'm forgetting the date. It was in the summer. I remember it was nice and warm out.
Yep.
The artist went back, has conducted some preliminary reviews, and has sent that to the Public Art and Civic Design Commission for preliminary review and feedback. The next steps is the artist then going back to the community to hold a community meeting ahead of any final.
So he goes to the review before he comes to the neighborhood.
Excuse me?
I mean, so he goes to get approval.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Before it even comes back to the neighborhood. Before I show the community.
Preliminary feedback. Right. So when it comes to the Public Art and Civic Design Commission, there's at least 2 meetings. The first one is a preliminary review where the artist submits a project,
Okay.
and then through email, commissioners provide comments. And then we typically would hold a meeting between preliminary review and final review with the community.
So I'm grateful that Beechview was one of the neighborhoods. I think it was $85,000.
I believe 90.
$90,000. Is there a fund or a way to upkeep it? Whether it, I mean, depending on what the project is. I know the painting, I got graffiti all over this mural on a PRT thing, which just adds. I don't like it. No one likes it. But so I wanted to make sure, number one, that nobody's. If we don't like it as a city and we decide to take that artwork off, that artist has no say-so in that, right? That is going to be in the contract.
When the contract is executed and the city accepts the work, it becomes property of the city and it goes into the city collection.
Good enough. And the idea, of course, is I want this fully vetted. I want to make sure the neighborhood knows what's going up. This way, any unfounded complaints go by the wayside. And of course, we want it to be something attractive and last a lifetime. So I don't suspect that will be the case. I just don't want any artist to hold us hostage of their artwork. I just don't.
Yeah,
not on our property.
I guess one reason why this is this particular example of each with an artist experienced in asphalt art and murals and now doing a more permanent structure is that since this is coming from the capital budget, it's implied that it's not permitted to be limited term art, which asphalt art and wall murals typically
Understand.
are.
So we'll expect Randy to get back to us in the near future as
Yes.
to
Yeah.
it's sent off now, his design or artwork or whatever you want to call
Preliminary.
it.
So it involves
Right.
commission comments, there'll be community feedback comments, and then also DPW and PLI comments.
And you know it to be iron.
Just from a note that says so, yes. Yeah.
Right. Shouldn't he just check with us first before he goes getting approval for something that maybe the community doesn't want it or doesn't like it?
There's no approval yet.
Okay, yeah. I mean, before he goes getting approval, shouldn't we kind of approve it first? That seems a little backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that will come. We'll get to see it.
Yeah, there's still going to be a
Okay.
community meeting ahead of any final public art and civic design commission.
Right, the community meeting, and for us to lay eyes on his
Yes.
artwork
Yeah.
before it gets sent off for approval.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, absolutely.
okay, good.
Yes.
That's good enough.
Yep.
I just thought that was backwards. Good enough. Thanks. That's it, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote on bills 2527 and 2591. Madam Clerk, thank you.
Mr. Charland.
No on 2527 and yes on 2591.
Mr. Coghill.
The same, no on 2527, yes on 2591.
Ms. Gross.
No on 2527, yes on 2591.
Mr. Lavelle.
No 2527, yes 2591.
Mr. Mosley.
No on 2527, yes on 2591.
Mrs. Kill-Smith. Mrs. Warwick.
No on 2527, yes on 2591.
Mr. Wilson.
One no and then a yes.
Mrs. Strasburger, Chair.
No on 2527, yes on 2591.
8 noes on Bill.
Register my vote too. No on the 2527 and yes on the other bill. Thank you.
9 noes on Bill 2527 and 9 ayes on Bill 2591.
Thank you very much. That moves us to Human Resources Committee, chaired by Councilperson Charland.
Bill 2556, resolution amending resolution number 654 of 2024, which authorized the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a professional services agreement and/or contracts with Bike Share Pittsburgh, Inc. to provide annual Pogo bicycle share memberships to any City of Pittsburgh employee requesting one, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof by increasing the authorized spend by $52,500 for an additional year and a half for a new total not to exceed cost of $122,500.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Sorry, I don't realize. Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2556, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. New papers, Bill 2502.
Resolution providing for an agreement or agreements with the Fair Housing Partnership of Pittsburgh for the implementation and administration of fair housing programming and related costs in the amount not to exceed $64,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2502, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2503.
Resolution amending Resolution 717 of 2022, which authorized the mayor and the director of the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service to enter into an agreement with Dayforce for services relating to the administration of the City of Pittsburgh's Human Capital Management System, which includes payroll and benefits. This amendment will extend the agreement by 5 years and will add funding by increasing the approved amount by $2,403,643 for a new total cost not to exceed $5,540,750.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilman Wilson.
Yes. Is there someone here to speak to the bill? No, thanks.
Dr. Pam Petron, representing.
Thank you for coming to the table.
Sure.
How many employees are able to put their time card into Dayforce to log their time? Like, is it 100%? I know it's not 100%, but what is the strategy to get everyone to log their time on Dayforce?
As opposed to the process that currently exists?
I don't have a full rundown of what the current process is. If you'd like to go through that, that'd be great.
I don't believe I'm prepared to do that. That would be an issue that we would need to engage payroll in, as well as the various timekeepers. And my voice is shot, so excuse me. I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
I can tell you that 100% of the employees, as well as council, are able to access their benefits online, that the system, which we have implemented since 2023, is going to allow the city benefits team and the office to go paperless by the end of 2026. The system also has capability to automate processes and streamline processes for additional cost savings to the city. We do have the capacity for every person who is an active employee to actively complete, either through mobile device or laptop, their time. So to answer your question, the ability is 100% there, not clear on the actual utilization.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, when I came here in 2020, that was a big ask from.
Well, since that time,
sorry, I just want to finish.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A big ask to for myself, just to get the city's HR department on the right track with not using paper to do benefits, and to be able to log on and click what your options would be and everything. And then also the other one was just a time card. And so I'll follow up with your director on this, but this is a good reminder for me just to check in on where we're at, because I know the last time I did, there was a big step forward for especially I think DBW workers to log them.
With the ability of everyone to use a mobile device, with Dayforce and the direction with their technology, which is stellar. They're only one of 4 global companies that have the abilities that it does have, and we're fortunate to have them as a vendor. There's no reason, other than working things out. The accessibility is there.
Yeah, I remember when I worked for Pitt, it was there when I began there, and I worked for them for close to 10 years. So it's definitely been out there for a long time. So just want to make sure it continues to transition here. I feel like it. Hopefully, we're all on it. By the end of the year here, because it doesn't seem like a big lift. But I'll follow up. Thank you.
I hope so. Yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilperson Charlin.
Yes. So just as we're talking about this, I know that we're looking at, putting out the RFQ for our enterprise to possibly replace JDE. Is this something that would possibly create a redundant function?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. In fact,
can you tell me why?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me why?
Because the HCM module, as it exists within the structure of Dayforce, is complementary to an ERP system that is meant to be designed to function with other various systems. The contract that we're looking at puts us in a position to be able to work to closure on a decision as to the effectiveness of and choice of an ERP system for the entire city. Dayforce more than likely, 98.8%, likely will be able to integrate with whatever system is chosen. And during that time, once the ERP is being evaluated and working on that task team with IMP, we will make the decision as to whether or not we need to continue use of Dayforce, or if the successful RFP candidate would be able to even take over the HCM process as well. But currently, I guess I should say, this is far superior to what we're working with currently.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it does. And I guess, that will be something we will want to keep an
We're
eye
going
on,
to
I guess.
further evaluate it within the next 5 years as part of the IMP ERP RFP. Not to make a joke.
So, but does this Dayforce contract have to be for 5 years? Could it be?
Well, we did have a proposal presented to us for 3 years, which is actually not cost effective. The additional 2 years, the difference in cost between the 3-year and the 5-year proposal was some $250,000 or approximately therein. So it made sense for us to go with the 5-year contract, which would then also be cost effective, as well as allow IMP to work through the ERP integration for the city.
Okay. Well, that's helpful to know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2503, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Affirmative recommendation. Thank you. 2504.
Resolution providing for an agreement or agreements with the Pittsburgh Regional Transit to allow the city to participate in the Partner Pass program for a one-year pilot for calendar year 2026 at a cost not to exceed $275,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a discussion.
Councilmember Warwick? Followed by Councilmember Hill.
Yes, I don't know if there's anyone to come speak to this. Sure. So just as they're coming up to the table, so this is something that my team has been working on for quite some time now, together with PRT, with DOMI, and with the Budget Office. What is proposed here? So PRT launched, I want to say, a year and a half, close to 2 years ago, the PRT Partner Pass program, right? So that's when a large employer or group purchases for a fixed number, for employees at a fixed location, right? Purchases bus passes for those employees at a greatly discounted rate. So I believe like $28 or so, as compared to the cost of a bus pass is like $98. So this is, this is a way for us as a city to offer this benefit to our employees. The pilot program is just downtown. I would love to be able to do it for citywide, but I think kicking it off to sort of gauge usage and whatnot downtown, and also just where the bus service goes. So that's about 750 employees. So all those employees would get bus passes, right? Would get a free bus pass. One question that I have, it would be that I feel that rather than asking for the bus pass, it would be good to just mail make sure that everybody just gets their bus pass. Overall, this, of course, similar to, the POGO benefit, it encourages multimodal travel right downtown. It reduces congestion the more people we can get out of their cars. And as we know, offering free public transit now, whether it's will boost transit usage, right? If it's free, then you're more likely to use it. So that would boost ridership to PRT, which of course makes PRT more sustainable, which is good for the region overall. And this really is something that all certainly employers in our downtown and Oakland areas should be doing, right? And for us as the city of Pittsburgh to kind of take this first step, I believe we would be the largest employer in the program to date. I think that may be the case. At any rate, just sort of puts us forward as being like the best practice employer. This is something that is good for PRT. It would be good for our employees. And if employers around the city and organizations around the city were to take advantage of this Partner Pass program, it would be good for everybody. So that's my pitch. Patrick, I'll let you.
Sure. Patrick Cornell, Chief Financial Officer. Councilmember Warwick is spot on. We've been talking about this and working with PRT for over a year at this point. When PRT was launching this program, we actually weren't eligible, right? So we've been working with them to figure out a way that the city government can move into it. They've refined and revised some of their options, because it's not just employers. They have multi-unit apartment buildings and condos are able to sign up, and schools are also able to sign up. I believe the universities have their own agreements. So Pitt as a large employer has its own kind of thing. The way that this program works is it's all or nothing based on a geographic location, which is why we are starting with the pilot, right? By choosing the city-county building and 412 and some of our other smaller units downtown, all of those employees will have access to this. It's not an opt-in thing. I believe it is the mobile pass is what PRT currently has, so we'll have to double check on that. But it is an all or nothing thing, which is why if we expanded it beyond specific strategic locations, the cost would jump up really fast, and we're not sure who would actually be using the pass to get to work. It's been a pleasure working with the District 5 office, with PRT, with Pittsburghers for Public Transit. And we are hopeful that this allocation, the last thing I'll add here, it is in the mayor's proposed budget. We are hopeful that it remains in a final budget that council passes. The authorization of this bill would not deter it. If that funding is not there, this bill would just be on paper, but we wouldn't actually act on it. The reason we wanted to move it ahead in December is to try and get things ready to go for the start of the year if we're able to.
We have was there any further question that you had? Councilman Coghill, followed by Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, so Patrick, let me, or interrogatory if Councilwoman, sorry about that. That's Italian, yeah. So this is going to apply to all city workers who work downtown Pittsburgh.
Correct. So we will tell PRT which locations we would like to include in the program.
Meaning buildings?
Buildings. It is a physical geographic
right. So it's not downtown, all city workers in downtown, but we're going to give them each location where we have city workers.
Correct.
Is that
So
right?
what we have included in the tentative count that the council member said, the city county building, 412 Boulevard of the Allies, 611 Second Ave right now.
Pretty much anywhere we employ people.
Correct. And there's also downtown, CPRB has their building as you go up Fifth Ave, and the Pittsburgh Partnership. The one that we are not going to include right now is the police substation, because those officers park in zone 2 and then come down. So it's anywhere where we do have city staff based full time.
Understood. If you're a public works employee and you work downtown, or?
So depending, the ones that are in 412 Boulevard of the Allies as their home base, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that
and we
would be
will
it.
work with HR. We will have to make sure there's an accurate census of where people's physical address is.
Okay, so who comes up with the amount, the $275? Is that what it was, $275?
$28 is per month.
Okay,
Is
so
that-
it's
this
based
PRT.
on every employee we have.
So what we did is we calculated estimates of employees at each of the locations downtown times $28 times 12 months. It's a little less than the $275,000, but we would only actually pay each month for the number of employees that are there. As people come and go, new hires or terminations, they would be entered or removed from the program.
Yeah, but so you identified 750 basically at this point. That's how you come up with that number.
Yes.
So we're giving PRT a $275,000 payment, and that's in order to get it at a discounted rate. It doesn't mean it's free to the employees. They still pay $28.
So what we have proposed as part of it is that it would be free to the employees. You are able to pass the cost on. Talking with the council member and the mayor, that's not how we wanted to think about it at this time.
So the $275 is free for all 750?
For our employees, yes.
For all 750 employees.
Yes.
It's not discounted rate, it's
Correct.
free.
And then the employees who are not downtown would still have access to the separate HR subsidy for bus passes as well.
Right. And for those who are downtown, they could use it throughout the county.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Free.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out where that $28, the discounted rate that Councilwoman Warwick was talking about.
So right now, if I were to buy a bus pass or a T pass, I take the T every day, it would be $97.50 a month.
Got it.
The city right now is covering about $48 of that as part of a proposal that Director Kellerman requested and has been in play for a year or two. But I am still contributing to my own bus pass.
Okay. So this is a discounted rate currently, but what we're proposing with the $275, it would be free.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's it for me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross.
So I love this as an employee benefit. I'm glad it's a pilot. I think it's going to be enthusiastically embraced. And I think we all know people who've been jealous of the Pitt and CMU employees who've been riding around on their free bus passes for decades, I think. And I hope that this is successful and that we're able to expand it to all city employees, no matter where their base is. It's curious to me that PRT has worked it out this way, as like we have to name certain locations. I don't know how long Director Kellerman's been in town, but I think she'll recall that when she first came to town, she met with council members, and I was like, why can't we get like discounted or free bus passes for city employees? So I think all of us have asked these questions over the years. So finally, at least we have this pilot program, and it was really PRT working out how they wanted to structure it. So I'm happy to be supportive today. I would like to see it to be more robust. So to cover more employees in more places. It certainly is a very minuscule investment, I think, to provide a really important employee benefit. Because we all know that we're still struggling to increase pay scale. We've done a lot of increasing of pay scales over the last 12 years, as much as I think it's been responsible for us in our budgeting. But it's still we lose on hiring people because our pay scales are so low in a lot of departments. So I think this is a great way to add an employee benefit. I will point out to the public also, we still do have defined pensions. And we do have good health benefits, and now maybe if you're a downtown worker, you can get a bus pass too. So at least we have those things. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Wilson.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Hi, Patrick. I did some calculations here when we were sitting, so it's $28 a month.
Yes.
So then that comes out to $336 for the year. So it looks like we have 800. You have identified 821, over 800 employees. It sounds like.
So I took a census from September when we were working on the budget. There are some employees where I'd have to go to the directors and ask, "Hey, are you actually, is this person actually at this place?" But it's a rough estimate of what it would be.
And then the current program that covers half of the cost.
Yes.
Do you have the number on that?
I do not. It is a much smaller group who participates, but I don't have that number, but I'm sure we can get it.
Do we have a rough estimate on, or maybe the exact number on how many parking spots are used by employees that work downtown?
HR certainly does. For our city-owned spots or the ones we lease from Second Ave, people could park at one of the private lots on their own without being enrolled in our city program.
I guess that's true. It'd be more expensive though.
Correct.
And the other options are there that we couldn't calculate. So, okay, I'll just try to get a rough estimate on.
I can get some numbers
on that. Yeah, if you could get some numbers, thanks.
Councilwoman Kell Smith.
That's a good question, Councilman Wilson. I'm just curious, there's not a sliding scale according to pay, so a director could use this free benefit as much as a person making $30,000.
Correct. It's a fixed amount as set by PRT. And that rate would be set for the first year, the entire year of the program, at their discretion for future contract years.
I like the idea of helping the employees. I just wish our budget was better to do it, to be honest with you. I don't think this is the perfect timing for this, but I love the idea that maybe we're helping, some people that might also be struggling, but our directors, I don't think are struggling as much. And not that I begrudge the directors or anything. I think they do a great job, but I think they could more easily afford, parking or driving or whatever. But, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Any further first round? Second round, Councilman Wilson.
Thanks. I just had some other questions that I thought of once I gave my time up. Usually how it happens for me. So the POGO is based on a 10% of estimate of employees that would use the program. And I'm not, well versed on this program, so I'd have to ask these questions. So this is just this one is is a blanket fee, just calculating all the employees that are in the buildings, and so will PRT adjust this the next year if they see that ridership is an estimated amount? So for instance, POGO is available to everyone, but the numbers are based on the percent of usage. So is that something that's in this program, or is it just a blanket, hey, we're giving you a really big discount, so we're just gonna count. We need to count every employee.
Yeah, so good question. It's definitely the structure of the program for POGO and for the city's current bus pass subsidy. It's an opt-in, right? So you have to opt in for the POGO membership, and then POGO charges us based on the number that we have. Same with the bus pass. For this one, PRT has set up the entire program to be, it is all or nothing based on this geographic location. I can't speak for them, but my guess is because it is such a heavy discount, that is how they are ensuring that it is still a benefit to them as an organization.
Yeah, well, actually, I think POGO, well, you're the one that doing sorry, I'm stuttering, doing the contract, but for POGO, but I wanted to clarify what I meant is that my understanding of the contract is that the initial one was to assume 10%.
Of ridership as
based
we
on other,
correct, as we budget.
and then as time goes on, they said, well, maybe we got to bump up to 15%. We find that out for next year. Like they'll take a loss that year, or we take a loss. But
Right.
Each year, we come back to the table and they present like who's using it, the amount of usage, and we get a cost based on that.
Yes, in all three cases, we would have to adjust contracts for PRT not to exceed amounts, or POGO and not to exceed amount that you just discussed, or our own budget line for the other bus pass based on what numbers are. So yes, HR is looking at it.
Okay, I'd be interested to see if PRT is interested in just looking at the numbers year by year and seeing, if we're taking a loss or they're taking a loss, and seeing if we can agree on like a percent each year, and
I think
keep narrowing it down to what
our loss is their gain, and I think that's why it's an interesting program for them. We are committing to make a payment regardless of whether you personally use it as you work in this building, and I think that's part of the risk we take as a participant, but that's what they factor in as part of the structure. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, they're just two different ways to whatever analogy people like to use. I'm not going to give some crazy analogy, but all right. Okay, thanks. I just wanted to pick through that a little bit. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Councilperson Warwick.
I would, if members are supportive, I would want us to be looking at the data, right? And talk with PRT so that we can see, and I think it's very important, this is actually Councilwoman Gross came up with this, but to mail it's not enough to just send out an email and say, hey, everybody, you can get a free bus pass if you come down to HR, because most people are just not even going to see the email. But actually, bus pass in hand, this is my bus pass and it's in my wallet, and now I know that, that I have a free bus pass and I can use it anywhere, right? I think that is important to see. And then, of course, then we can look at the numbers and, are we seeing an increase from the folks who are getting their reduced rate, who are coming down to HR now and getting their, reduced rate bus pass? That's a bus pass I have, right? The $50 one. But I have to actively go down and ask for it, right? And I don't think that we should do that here. If we want to maximize our gain, right, we should make sure that everybody has the card in hand.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
I just have a question. If we saw major uptake in this, is there a world in which we could generate additional revenue by leasing out the unused parking spaces that we own?
That's interesting.
Are there reasons why that wouldn't be possible?
I don't know the answer to that question, but we can dig into it.
Okay, thank you.
We own those lots, the same way we would enter into lease agreements with employees. Perhaps it could be with others as well. I don't know. We would dig into that.
Lots of hurdles I could see for lots of different reasons, but if it were successful, I could see there being some open spots. Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Councilman Coghill.
Yeah, just real quick, Patrick. Is there data on how many of these 750 employees we have that are signed up at the discounted rate?
When I get the data from HR, I can do the cross-reference. Okay. So right now, no, but I can get that.
Got it. And as far as enforcement, do you have to show your ID when you enter the bus or T? Or?
No, I think it would.
So I can give it to anybody in my family and they can go wherever they want.
I imagine that HR would establish a written policy that says employees won't do that.
So it's gonna
That
on
would be my recommendation.
The honor system then? Is that what you're implying?
I can't control someone else's
Under-
past, but
Understood.
I think we would want to make sure that there is no.
Yeah, so PRT
misuse.
is not regulating, they're not asking us to show ID when we
I don't
jump.
believe
That's
so.
what I'm asking, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. All those in favor of Bill 2504, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Affirmative recommendation. Thank you. 2586.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 840 of 2019, effective January 1st, 2020, as amended entitled, Resolution adopting and approving the 2020 capital budget and the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program, approving the 2020 through 2025 capital improvement program by reducing Troy Hill citizens by $6,000 and increasing Catapult Greater Pittsburgh by $6,000, and authorize a subsequent agreement or agreements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2586, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Deferred papers, Bill 2467.
Ordinance supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title IX, Zoning Code, Article 1, Introduction and Establishment, Chapter 902, Zoning Districts in General, at Section 902.01, Establishment of Zoning Districts, by adding a new specially planned district at subsection 902.01 D2 to be identified as SP 13 West End Trolley Trail Accessory Parking District. At Article 4, Planning Districts, Chapter 909, Planned Development Districts, Section 909.01 SP Specially Planned District, by creating a new district to be identified as SP 13 West End Trolley Trail Accessory Parking District, including rules and regulations, and by amending the City of Pittsburgh zoning map by changing accessory parking standards in UI and LNC to SP 13 West End Trolley Trail Accessory Parking District for property consisting of lots between Freewalt Street, the West End Trolley Trail Gateway along McCartney Street, Green Tree Road, and portions of Warden Street, Woodville Avenue, McKnight Street, and Wabash Street, as further identified in the attached map and in more detail within the bill below, all located in the 20th Ward.
Motion to hold 2 weeks.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a 2-week hold on Bill 2467, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Bill will be held 2 weeks. New papers, Bill 2526.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with Paramount Pursuits LLC for technical assistance services to nonprofits awarded neighborhood economic development grants in need of capacity building for a sum not to exceed $41,000 for the payment of the costs thereof.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion? Councilperson Charlin.
Yes, I'm assuming Kelly, you're here to. I understand.
Training going on, so y'all just got me.
Okay.
We're good with you.
Yeah, all right. Kelly Russell, Assistant Director, Community Development.
So I do have a question about this contract. So this is for Paramount Pursuits, which helps build capacity for the large net or the biggest NED winner, correct?
I can't talk now. The capacity building groups
Yes.
through the NED program. Yes, sir.
So I'm concerned. So this, and I believe was a group from the Hill that won it this year, or that was I shouldn't say won, but
No, I know
was
what you mean. The awardee who got the NED group. Yes.
Yeah.
Hill.
It wasn't Hill CDC. It was Hill.
Either them or Hill District Consensus Group, but it was one of the groups from the Hill. Yes.
And so I know that my Beltsuver went through this previously. They won it last year. They did not find this Paramount contract to be useful. So I'm curious, is this something we're putting out to bid?
Oh yeah. There is an RFP for this. Actually, I had a feeling that question would come up. I thought you would bring it up.
I was going to.
But it was RFP last year for 2024, and we received 5 proposals that our department scored and reviewed and decided that Paramount Pursuits was the winning bid.
So how do we measure the success of these groups? Because this is, not it's not a ton of money, but it's not an insignificant amount. And I understand the value of giving these groups, additional training so they can build capacity and they can fundraise for themselves. But this does not seem to be, from the folks that I've talked to, this did not seem to be beneficial really in any way.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed to hear that. But to answer your question, there is a scope of work that Paramount Pursuits has that does provide services. So they assess the capability of they assess the capability for the organizations entering the program. That includes leadership of staff, board governance, program management, fundraising, financial management, and community engagement. They do facilitate an onboarding meeting. To answer to somewhat also help you, I can send you a copy of the scope because this is kind of a detailed scope here.
Sure.
I could keep on reading, but it might take a minute. But they do have a scope of work that talks about, let me just say this, they facilitate onboard meeting, they facilitate 3 capacity building workshops, they have reports that they do to the city, and of course the term for the previous agreement was from January 1st of 2025 through January 31st of 2025. With this bill here, we want to extend the current agreement.
Yeah, I guess my whole thing here is that it does, if it's not useful, why are we paying for it? Why are we making the net awardees go through this? And what can we do at this point to try to get somebody else in that could be more effective?
Well,
like the university.
I mean,
I know you said that. I remember you saying that last year
They
too.
do. They offer it.
I do remember asking about this last year, or I think
it was last year.
Early,
It was last
okay, it was last
year.
year. About the issues related to this organization. I believe they're out of Bridgeville or Ambridge.
Beaver, I think it's Ambridge because it's close to Beaver County.
Yeah, and again, having just had a group from my district go through this, there wasn't a whole lot of value out of it. So, I mean, what do you?
I got you. What could we do to terminate this agreement? We'd have to put it back out for bid again. Okay. And the reason why we wanted to extend this agreement was the previous contractor who provided the service, there was just too much going on with them. So we ended that agreement and put it out for bid last year. And that's why Paramount Pursuits was the winning bid. And from what we've heard nothing but great things. So to hear that your Belsuver group is not happy, that's a little bit of a surprise.
So both them, and then there was actually another group also out of Belsuver, but a much smaller group that went to them before on their own or through perhaps the Forbes Fund or something. I'm not exactly sure how
I know what
that
you mean.
worked.
Through another funding source.
Not through NED, and they also had a similar experience. That this was not helpful. So I think I'm gonna vote no, and would ask my colleagues at least to hold this. I'm not exactly sure what to do with it, but I don't think this is super helpful for the groups that really need it.
Okay. I like I said, you saying this is news to us. So I don't know. I hate to say I don't know. I can't react to that because everything we've heard has been glaring things from Paramount Pursuits, and we've enjoyed working with them. So this is a little bit disappointing.
Okay. Thank you.
I know you're telling her.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cale Smith.
Thank you. Where's Paramount Pursuits? Where are they located?
Like you said, Ambridge, Beaver County. It doesn't matter. Sorry, let me lower my voice for one. It doesn't matter where you're located. They can still provide the services to.
No, I hear
city.
that. I hear that. But for me, it matters if you're a Pittsburgh company. If there's a Pittsburgh company that offers it, I'd rather it be a Pittsburgh company contract. But for me, the universities offer this kind of stuff for free, and I say this every year.
I remember.
I really wish that we would help our small businesses and our nonprofits to build their capacity in a way that they can do fundraising on their own. They don't have to rely on public dollars. They can be self-sustaining. And I think we used to do it with SeaTac. It was on the north side. And then there was the Bear Center for Nonprofit Management.
You
They do it
mentioned before.
but the University of Pittsburgh has, I think both of those for both small businesses and to help nonprofits for free. And so I just don't understand why we're not looking into those free options. And so I would be supportive of holding it, but I don't know what the council member whose organizations, the recipient might have a different, I think it's Council President Lavelles, might have a different thought. But for me, I just wish that we would do more of that. And maybe I'll try to legislate something that we're looking at, if there's something that the universities provide free, that we're working with them. We have such a gem in our universities, and we complain all the time about what they don't do, but they do a lot of things that we don't take advantage of. So I just want to say.
No, I remember you saying that last year. Now, I just, normally with our funds, we have to RFP them, and we had to get a special waiver to do this one, but I understand. I remember your concerns from last year, and I hear Councilperson Charlin's concerns from this year.
Do you know if the Bear Center still offers it?
Yeah, remember, well, you might not, I shouldn't say remember. I think they do exist. This came up when we brought all our main legislation, and AJ had commented that she believes they do still exist. And
I wish I could
they used to
remember.
be a
I don't
reference
remember
point
my
for
name
us.
half the time anymore,
No.
okay? But I appreciate the reminder. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilman.
Briefly. So I was sidebarring with the councilman, and he was reminding me. So the organization that won this year is actually in the Hill District, but the Hill Consensus Group.
Okay.
What services? How would they actually help the Consensus Group?
Oh, remember the scope I just went through? Those are some of the services that Paramount Pursuits is going to provide to the different nonprofit groups. So that would be Hill Consensus Group was to receive these services as well. So let me just repeat that one more time in case you were conversating while I was talking. Excuse me.
You don't have to do all that.
No, I got it. I just had to scroll up a page. It's determine a capacity baseline, facilitate onboard meeting, facilitate 3 capacity workshops, and reporting to the city. And as I also said when I was talking to the councilperson, Charlene, I can send you a copy of the scope. It's a lot more detailed than what I'm reading right here. I don't think y'all want me to read the full scope.
Sure, and that'd probably be helpful.
Yeah.
If the councilmen's organizations have had a bad experience with this, I don't mind holding this to try to think through a better process or look if there are other options, especially within the city, to assist. I'm very familiar with the Consensus Group who's been awarded and would actually go through this process. So, and I know there are other ways that I could also assist them in doing this work until we had on another provider to assist. So I'll be supportive if the councilman wants to hold, or I'll be supportive in supporting him in whichever direction he wants to go.
Oh,
Anything further?
Saying it's on you.
Do we have a motion for a hold?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to hold 1 week at least.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a 1 week hold for Bill 2526, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Bill be held 1 week. 2528.
Resolution authorizing the Director of the Department of City Planning on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into licenses or temporary easements as necessary for the city to perform maintenance and/or removal of the Lawrenceville Life Links charm bracelet artwork without cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2528, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2529.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning to enter into an agreement and/or contract with Pittsburgh Community Reinvestment Group for the purpose of utilizing an AmeriCorps Vista in the Department of City Planning at a cost not to exceed $21,900 over 1 year.
Motion to approve.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2529, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2533.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 863 of 2018, effective January 1st, 2019, as amended, entitled, Resolution adopting and approving the 2019 capital budget and the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program, approving the 2017 through 2022 capital improvement program by reducing Kitchen of Grace by $1,000 and Homewood Renaissance Association by $2,500, and increasing Macedonia Family and Community Enrichment Center by $1,000 and Naomi's Place Transitional Housing by $2,500. And authorize a subsequent agreement or agreements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2533, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2534.
Resolution further amending Resolution Number 886 of 2021, effective December 27th, 2021, as amended, entitled, Resolution adopting and approving the 2022 capital budget and the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Program by reducing Steel City Boxing Association by $638.61, Northside Leadership Conference by $5,000, Pittsburgh National Youth Boxing by $610.61, and Allies for Health and Well-Being by $5,000, and increasing YMCA of Greater Pittsburgh Allegheny by $638.61, Macedonia Family and Community Enrichment Center by $5,610.61, and Jeremiah's Place by $5,000, so as to fund specific City Council public service grant projects, and authorize a subsequent agreement or agreements.
Motion to approve discussion.
With discussion, Councilman Wilson.
Yes, you all have a yellow paper. It should be the only yellow paper you have next to you. And I like to, looks like there's some grammatical errors here. And then some other technical amendments that you can see. And I'd like to I'll make a motion to amend 2534.
Second.
2534.
Correct.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of amending Bill 2534 with the amendment in front of us, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Bill is amended. Is there discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2534 as amended, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Thank you very much. That takes us to Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Gross.
Bill 2562, Resolution amending Resolution Number 155 of 2023, authorizing an amendment or amendments to the existing rooftop license agreement between the City of Pittsburgh and 600 GS Prop LP, a Pennsylvania limited partnership, in order to extend the term through December 31st, 2030, and allow additional equipment installations by increasing the approved amount by $60,000 for an amended total cost not to exceed $440,387.56.
Motion to approve?
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2562, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. New papers, Bill 2505.
Resolution amending Resolution 862 of 2024, which authorized the mayor and the director of public safety to enter into an amended agreement or agreements with Julata for software subscription-based client relations management services by increasing the total not to exceed amount by $71,093 for a new total not to exceed of $275,524.72 over 4 years.
Motion to approve?
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2505, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2506.
Resolution amending Resolution 718 of 2022, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with Computronics USA, Inc. for subscribed services to handle day-to-day maintenance and support of One Stop PGH, including to address any defects that may arise with the system and to define service level agreements for resolution time, meeting the needs of the City of Pittsburgh by increasing the approved amount by $1,616,281 for an amended total cost not to exceed $2,840,763 over 6 years.
Motion to approve.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2506, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2507.
Resolution amending Resolution Number 878 of 2024, effective December 3rd, 2024, which authorized the mayor, the director of public works, and the director of innovation and performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into an amended agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with Cartograph, now doing business as OpenGov, Inc., to meet the continuation of service needs of the City of Pittsburgh by extending the agreement an additional 3 years and increasing the cost by $707,379.03 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $2,551,173.55 over 13 years.
Motion to approve.
Second.
For discussion, is there anyone who can speak to this today? Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Moore, Assistant Director of Business Technology, the Department of Innovation and Performance.
Thank you. I see that there's a waiver of competitive process, and I wanted to know why that was the case here. This is a 3-year additional extension. This is an expenditure of a decent amount of money, so I just wanted to hear a little bit more about why there was a waiver and why the 3-year extension.
Funding's not available to issue an RFP for a new system at this time.
Is that the desire, is a brand new system?
There is a desire for a new system. However, as you know, we are replacing JDE with a new ERP system, and that process is going to take about 3 years. We wanted to make sure that we have JDE in and stabilized before we implemented any other new systems which it would integrate with. So we do not have the resources currently, the people to work on it, and we don't have the funding. We estimate it would be about $1.5 million for the first year to replace it, and we expect that we would be able to do that. Issue an RFP in 2026 or 2027 to implement it, and then have it in place in 2028.
I see. So this is until the expected outcome of that. I guess I'm a little confused. Was the initial agreement with Cartograph done through an RFP, or was that the waiver that was?
The initial agreement with Cartograph.
I'm just trying to figure out if the
remember.
waiver is because of an extension or if the waiver was for the original.
No, this is
for the extension.
The second waiver. The original, I believe we did go out to RFP. I don't think we bought it off of a cooperative agreement, but I don't remember right now. I was there. I just don't remember the details right now.
Okay. I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure for this particular one that, we had the reasons for aligning with J.D. Edwards or replacing J.D. Edwards makes sense. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't have any further questions. All right. All those in favor of Bill 2507, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Affirmative recommendation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bill 2508.
Resolution amending Resolution 338 of 2024, Authorizing the mayor, the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance, and the director of permits, licenses, and inspections on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with Computronics USA, Inc. to provide ongoing professional services to continue to develop and upgrade the Posse LMS system in support of the One-Stop PGH permitting program, meeting the needs of the city of Pittsburgh by increasing the approved amount by $300,000 for an amended total cost not to exceed $2,977,278 over 6 years.
Motion to approve. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2508, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to our last committee of the day, Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilman Mosley.
Bill 2564, resolution amending Resolution 52 of 2021, providing for an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Pittsburgh and the Borough of Wilkinsburg for the collection of a portion of the borough's municipal waste by the city for a term of 5 years, by extending the ending date by 6 months to June 30th, 2026, and increasing the amount by $539,785.75 for a new cost not to exceed $5,073,239.51.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2564, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. New papers. Bill 2509.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into a cooperation agreement or agreements with the City of Pittsburgh Equipment Leasing Authority to provide for the leasing of 5 street sweepers with maintenance included at a cost not to exceed $2,299,257.80 over 5 years.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilman Coghill.
Director Holstein, would you please come? Introduce yourself first.
Chris Hornstein, Director of Public Works.
Okay, thank you for being here. I think we talked about this
We
last
have.
week. I can't
Yes.
remember what meeting or what it was about, but under Public Works, I guess. So we are going ahead leasing 5 street sweepers, and this will ensure no interrupted service throughout the
Yes,
city. Is that right?
That's the
So
intent.
we don't have to worry about people calling me and saying I moved my car, but the street hasn't
sweeper
been
didn't show
cleaned.
up,
Right,
and
right.
didn't show up because it's been down for
right,
3
right.
months. Yes.
So we're leasing them now, but do we?
We don't lease them now. We own them now.
Okay, yeah, we own them now, right,
Correct.
right. But the ones that we're going to lease, how much are they to lease?
I don't have the figure on the top
Okay.
of my head, but
Okay.
it's
Okay, but well, let me ask you this. I mean,
It's like
this time of
100,000 per year.
100,000 apiece
Per year, I think.
for a year for all of them.
Let me double check the math.
Yeah. Do we clean the streets throughout winter? Do we not?
we do actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
they're-
do, right,
they
right,
are.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean, most of
obviously-
the time there's not snow. Obviously, if it's snowing, we don't.
Right.
Right. But,
Correct. But yeah, we will, and we will provide that service, as necessary on request when we can get to it in the winter. Yes.
And when do we expect them? What's the time frame?
We've been working
They
actively.
have them on hand now. We just.
Yeah, we've been actively working with the leasing agency. They'll be here well in advance of the NFL draft.
Less than 100,000 a year per. Yeah, it's not bad. Do they have to be? Yeah, I think it said they do cover the maintenance.
That's correct.
Right,
Yeah, they cover all the. Yeah,
Yeah.
The vendor, the leasing agency provides all of the maintenance.
Yeah, and how do they transport those on flatbed trucks? Or I mean, they don't drive them here. You can't, right? I mean,
believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, I have to
okay.
double
It's
check
not our
that.
concern, I guess.
Yeah.
They're going to deliver them.
They're gonna perform. They're gonna deliver them, and they're gonna perform the maintenance here on their.
Yeah, so it's for a year. Councilman Gross thinks it's roughly $100,000 per vehicle per year.
That tracks a little less than that, I think. Yeah, it's about
Do you
90,000.
know what they cost? They're like $500,000, I think we said.
Yeah, a little less than that
Yeah.
is the retail. So there is, but that package includes, that 90,000 includes the maintenance service.
Well, let's thank God for that, because we've been looking at our maintenance on vehicles, and it's not pretty. So, okay, so once we approve, we will get these pronto, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
You, Councilwoman Gross.
I think I kind of just said everything through Councilman Coghill since I was giving him all the
Yeah, he was answering my questions through you. Your questions
and I
through
did
me,
the
I
math.
should say.
It says it's like basically 2.3 million, but it's 5 of the street sweepers for 5 years. So that's about $90,000 per vehicle for each year. But the critical part was, I also said ask him if it covers maintenance, because this is great to me, because it's vehicles that aren't in the 70 million TransDev contract.
Right.
So we don't own them, but then we don't also have to get screwed over or pay an exorbitant fee to TransDev for maintaining vehicles that we own. Let's put it that way. Typically you imagine like, oh my gosh, leasing is so much more expensive than owning. But I'm really wondering, and we can dive more into this tomorrow, like I'm really wondering if that's true. Like if these turn out to be like really dependable vehicles that aren't breaking down and are well maintained under the lease, this is a great, let's just call it a pilot project to
When
see
you factor in
how
TransDev.
that works these days. When you factor in the costs that we're paying for maintaining vehicles that we own, like I said a little bit earlier to an earlier bill, so I won't belabor it, but like, I think we really need to pay careful attention as council to like which kind of vehicles are costing how much on maintenance, and not just assume that every new vehicle is in equal cost saving, because I'm not sure that's true. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But since we're going to be turning over the fleet so much and investing so much, I think it's good for us to keep a careful eye on that. So anyway, thank you. And yes, to my constituents who have sent me emails saying, my street didn't get cleaned all year. This is why. So hopefully your street will get cleaned. We have a lot of leaves down in some of our neighborhoods. We're fortunate to have a lot of street trees on a lot of the streets that I represent, but there's a lot of leaves on those trees. And to the people who have not gotten their street cleared, but still got ticketed by parking authority for not moving their cars, even though no street sweeper ever came, we'll be working on that. Same thing happened last year too. So we'll be working on that with the parking authority. So apologies. Thank you. That's all.
Madam Chair, I just had one more
Councilman
follow-up.
Coghill.
Okay, thank you. I know that, how many do we have how many does the city own right now currently? I think, was it 12 or 10?
10.
10, and like half of those are broke down, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah,
Six
now-
are out
Okay,
of
what's the
service.
plans to do with them? We don't want to give them the TransDev. I can't imagine. They probably are expensive to fix, work on parts.
Some
What
some
they?
are
Yeah.
some
Not like
are
a car or a
some are
truck.
just awaiting parts. Like parts have already been ordered.
Oh, okay. So we are planning to.
We'll make judgment
those
calls
back on
on
the road.
those.
Yeah, right.
At the time that we receive the new vehicles, I would keep a couple for spares,
Right.
just in case.
Right.
So there's logic in repairing those ones that are down.
Sure,
But also divesting ourselves.
Yeah,
of
case by case. I mean,
case
if
by
it's,
case
yeah,
situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So we have pretty much 5 good running ones. So we'll have back to full complement of 10 once we get
With
the
some
leases
additionals,
in. Right.
you know,
Right.
holding
right.
on to some additional spares as
Right.
well.
Right. Okay. We don't fix those. We send those to TransDev.
It depends on the issue.
Okay. Right.
So some of those we do fix. It depends. TransDev.
Anything we can do
handles
it
the
in-house,
break-
let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, think of TransDev as your mechanic. So, and the sweeper is complicated. It has
Yeah. Well, that's
vacuum
what
or
I'm wondering
conveyor
about.
belt.
That. Right.
Right.
It's
So
not
our
your typical machine.
Our heavy equipment maintains like the sweeping portion of the vehicle, the engine,
Right.
chassis,
Right.
brakes, that type of thing. That's handled by TransDev.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing a full complement and having, our streets cleaned in a more effective manner. And that will be throughout winter. The schedule doesn't change. It's not less throughout winter, and it's same schedule.
Yeah, I mean, the posted schedule is the same schedule.
Obviously,
the rest
if
of
it
it is
snows like it did yesterday, we don't.
absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
and
okay.
then we, we provide that service upon request. So if residents often go into 311 and ask for that service, and we'll work to schedule it and get it done.
And if a day like yesterday happens on your street's supposed to be clean, you move your car. Obviously, it snows. We won't be by to clean it. Do you put them on the next day, or do you put them on, just
We work for the
next
I mean,
cycle?
The
Obviously,
the weather's telling us.
obviously,
The
if there's
weather's
snow
telling
in the
us.
street, still ice in the street.
Right.
So you
It's
wait.
important to
till
note that
whatever.
the street sweeping calendar that's posted is from like March to November, right? So we don't actually post. We're not doing
Okay,
the
so we
posted
don't.
routes
Okay,
in the-
good,
in the
good. So there is no steady routine through January, February.
Right, we'll be,
Because of
we
the
will be
climate,
working to get,
because of
yeah,
the weather.
Because
Okay,
of the weather,
understood.
but
All right, that was-
if it's opened up, we're gonna go and we're gonna address leaves, we're gonna address conditions that, we've observed.
Good, understood. All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2509, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2510.
Resolution authorizing the approval of the 2026 Housing Opportunity Fund Annual Allocation Plan, all council districts.
Motion to approve.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilperson Charlie.
Yes, I believe you guys are here to talk to us.
Good afternoon. You've had a long day. Catherine Murray, Director of Government Affairs and Strategic Initiatives at the URA. Great to see you all.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members, and members of the public. Kiana Wassler, Chief Housing Officer at the URA.
Good afternoon. My name is David DiBernardo. I am the Manager of Residential Lending at the URA.
Well, can you maybe walk us through a little bit what changes we're making to the Housing Opportunity Fund allocation plan?
Sure. So quickly, the process for the allocation plan annually for the Housing Opportunity Fund is we open a public survey and provide I believe 30 to 45 day window for the public to tell us, the city and the URA and the advisory board, what programs they feel should be funded. Once that survey closes, we go to the advisory board with that information and we start to allocate the $10 million of funds. What you have before you today is the draft allocation that has gone through the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board, has passed through the URA's Board of Directors, and is now before you for final approval. And so what's different this year than last year, I don't have the exact last year numbers in front of me, unfortunately, but you will see there is a slight increase in the rental gap program than in previous years. I believe the Housing Stabilization Program has an increase, as well as the Legal Assistance Program. There was a lot of discussion around how to best, and the Small Landlord Fund is zeroed again, which it was at zero last year as well. So a lot of discussion around the best way to utilize these funds. There was also a lot of public comment feedback from advocates to the advisory board around the legal assistance program, and because of that, those advocates, we were able to increase the allocation from the original 1.5 million that originally was allocated in the original draft up to 1.7 million. So hopefully that answers your question. Unfortunately, I don't have the 2025 allocation in front of me to tell you exact changes over year.
Okay, and so I want to start off by saying, like, unequivocally, I think this is one of the best programs we do in the city. I know that our partners in our district work through the HAP program specifically. It's something, often the person that is in most need calling our office is someone that needs connected with a HAP program, often, through Hilltop Alliance or Action Housing or I believe it's all Action Housing now. It's not Hilltop Alliance anymore.
Correct.
Which actually is a problem that I would like to discuss with you. It's a different point.
Okay.
But that being said, this is a $10 million transfer, and you're kind of divvying up how that would happen. I do understand though that the housing bond was supposed to go supplement these programs. Has that happened? How is that going? Where are we with that?
That's a great question. Yes, the housing bond was issued in December of 2023. With that issuance, we were required to commit or spend down all 30.6 million of those funds within 3 years. So we are approaching the end of year 2, and we have committed all of those funds except for approximately 500,000 of it into projects currently. We have a rental pipeline that is somewhere between $15 to $30 million of requests for different projects that have come to the URA. And so we will definitely be able to commit that remaining 500,000 of bond money, and also need any additional funds for rental development that we can find to be able to meet the need to help decrease, the amount of units that we don't have in the city for affordable housing. So yes, the affordable housing bond has been a great tool to help spur development in downtown. A lot of what you see from the URA happening in downtown and all the projects that we have funded there has come through that affordable housing bond, as well as work that we're doing throughout the neighborhood. So it is basically almost committed, and now we're back to just other sources that are provided to us from the city, including HOF.
Yeah, and I think the rental gap is something that we as council members probably interact with the least. Not that the projects don't happen in our districts, but someone calls the office, we're going to direct them towards HAP. Someone, or Happy, someone, we talk to residents all the time who took advantage of the down payment assistance. But I think rental gap is probably something that's a little bit more, we're a little less in touch with on a day-to-day basis. But that being said, there's the reality of where we are as a city this year. This is a $10 million transfer. There is supplemental money from the housing bond that is available there. I'm curious from you, what would happen if we didn't make the full $10 million transfer this year?
Great question, and we've been mulling this over as well, as we heard loud and clear from you and other members last year at our budget hearing, that there is this, tight financial issue that the city's trying to solve. We're very concerned that if we already in the HOF programs are receiving more applications probably in almost every program than we can currently fund with the $10 million transfer. And so we're concerned that we're not only going to not be able to create and preserve new affordable units, not be able to kind of help support projects that have received other financial awards and we're just that last money in. We're also not providing services. We're not to our constituents. We're not helping people who are experiencing eviction, which could just kind of further the crisis, right? And so there's many negatives that can come about, not only in units, but with people not being served, that I think will just kind of affect all of the districts in the future.
It is my preference that if we can save anything, that this is something that we save, because I think these programs are that important. I think I've talked to many of you before about wanting to expand down payment assistance. I think that's, a really admirable thing that we could do. Just there is a reality. So let's say that if we did 8 million instead of the 10 million, I know you'd be able to do less programming. But would the allocation plan as it exists, or are you able to scale everything down 20% if that's the case? You don't want to.
I don't
but-
want to. I don't
right.
even want to advocate
I don't,
for it.
I don't
but,
want you to.
Yeah, I don't.
But
If I may, we could get you what those numbers would be. We don't have, what this would look like at 20% less right now in front of us. But if that's something that you're curious about with like real like numbers on consumers in particular of how many less people would be served by cutting it by $2 million, we could get you that. I think that overall, we would have to obviously talk to the advisory board again. It would have to work its way through the full process again to work through the URA board. That's all procedural. We get that. But I don't think it would be without a lot of consideration kind of to how we would be able to serve the most people with less money, which is what we're quite frankly already trying to do with $10 million.
yeah, again, I would, my preference is that this is a program that we expand. And if it's all possible that we can preserve this, I would like to see us do that. I just also know the realities of the other conversations we're having and where we are this year.
Yeah, I respect the position you're in.
What I do want to make sure of though is that we're not building half a bridge with any of this funding. That if we're at a point where $3 million works, but if we make it 2.5, the program's not worth it. I want to make sure that that's something that we're aware of before we start looking at cuts here. So, I think my preference probably, and I haven't really discussed this with other members, is that this is something we hold on to until we're a little closer on the budget here. But I don't know what the will of the body is, and really haven't discussed it with everyone else here. So, with that, I think that's all from me, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, appreciate it. I agree with Councilman Charland on the importance of the housing assistance program. And I really evolved in my thinking. I want to say some 10 years ago when we were debating creating a housing opportunity fund. I mean, this goes back a ways because it took us a couple of years to put it in place, right? We debated the creation and the organization of it for a full year, and then we spent an additional year fighting about where to find $10 million to put in, and we ended up with the real estate transfer tax. And I think I'm probably on the record somewhere at the time saying like, oh, well, we should spend these funds in like constructing new housing, because we don't want to like, this is, going to be a big pot of money, and you don't want to just kind of lose it on just Band-Aids, not solving the problems. And that is not what I'm thinking of right now, right? I think that we have done really important work to the credit of the advisory council in doing the rental assistance and the eviction prevention. And that's in part because the environment has changed. I mean, I think it's just egregious how many evictions we're seeing, right? And so we heard public comment earlier today that we saw some 4,000 eviction cases last year in the city. And I was trying to do some quick math, as we often do at the table here. And, if there's 130,000 households in the city of Pittsburgh, and there's like 53% of those households are renting households, not owning households, that's like 5% of the renters landlords filed eviction on them in the city last year. That's crazy. And I think that there's lots of reasons we've discussed separately about that, that is really important to guard and protect. Because I'll just note, again, I've been here now over 10 years. We know our population, decreased for decades, and even from like 2000 to 2020, I think it went down like another 30,000. But we know, especially from 2010 to 2020, we gained people. We didn't gain total population because we lost poor people, and predominantly black poor people, or overrepresented amounts. And so, you can see it in specific neighborhoods. We always cite Chris Bream, who's our kind of local economist, who said like just East Liberty gained like 1,600 people, and those were, where like there were brand new homes going for $1 million in East Liberty, but lost at the same time frame like 900 black households. And so I think that by slowing down these evictions, we're actually helping our city population, which has been like this big policy confusion for like decades. How do we do that? Well, one of the ways we have to do is by stop displacing our residents out to McKees Rocks and the far reaches of Allegheny County. I've shared this story before, but like in COVID, I did a volunteer delivery box, you know, like kind of emergency relief. And it was for restaurant workers, like people who have jobs, city workers. I don't know. I was driving for an hour. I mean, this person lives on like the bend of the Monongahela, like way upriver. It took me so far. And that's because we've pushed out our low-wage workers way outside of the city, almost outside of the county, in order to be able to live. So fighting the evictions is really, really important. That emergency housing relief is really, really important. We've talked about it elsewhere where we have allocated additional funds that we're hoping are added to this here at the city council allocated, and to thank you to my colleagues for allocating those funds. Because, you know, I think what we heard was there's 4,000 evictions, and this funding ran out and was only allocated to, it was only able to cover, because it's still at a pilot project funding level, only covered 40% of those 4,000 cases. So, and the last numbers I have, I know it's probably not in front of us now because I think some of the demographics were still being updated, but the last time we checked, something like 80% of it were female-headed households with children in the home who were getting this legal assistance. So, you know, we're talking about our kids as well. And we know from the teachers union and from our colleagues at PPS that some of the kids in the program, in the PPS, change schools 5 times in a year. So if we can help through these kinds of funds to create more stability, we're doing what we're, you know, it helps and supports what we're trying to do with other kinds of our programming, which is creating more stability in programming for teens and trying to support our residents who are struggling. So I think that's great. I also know that we have presentations from the ORA elsewhere about the support from the housing bond, and I know that it's a struggle to do these allocations because they all just get over-tapped and run out, right? And so we're trying to do a little of both things, and it feels unsatisfying, but you know, we are also spending some of this money to help make sure that projects happen, like that new construction in your district that, if not for these funds, might never happen or take a couple more years to happen because they can't. It's always like that $500,000 gap. Like no matter what the project is, there's always like some gap funding that's needed. So there's line items for those here as well. So I know it's difficult. I know there was lots of debate, but it's really important that we save households, because I really think it's actually not just for the benefit to those households, but it's actually helping us achieve policy goals that we've talked about for a long time. So that's all, Madam Chair. Thank you. I didn't ask any questions, but
thank you. Councilwoman Warwick, Councilman Coghill, thank you.
I do, and obviously very supportive, obviously, of this fund. I do want to say, just, you know, just to make the statement that as we move into the budget hearings and we're talking about potential cuts here and there, right? Just as elected leaders, it's always very easy to prey on the funding that supports our most vulnerable residents, who are the least likely to get in touch with us when we cut the funding that they desperately need, right? So to cut funding from low-income folks who are trying to stay in their home, you know, whether that's eviction prevention, whatever it may be, right, rental assistance, it's a lot harder to say, hey, Pittsburgh residents, we're gonna pick up your garbage every 2 weeks instead of every one, because we got to make cuts, right? Or we're not going to do recycling. Or, you know, instead of $19 million for paving, we're going to cut that down to $8 million for paving, so your road isn't going to get paved, right? Because those are also cuts that we could, if we're talking about cuts, right? Those are also cuts that we could be talking about, but that we're not talking about, right? So I just want to make that clear, that when programs come that are to support our quite literally our most vulnerable residents, right? It's very easy to kind of, because they're not the ones calling our office, being like, how you can't cut the housing, you can't cut my, you know, what. So, and there's a very small handful of advocates, maybe lawyer for a day, folks like that, who would, say, hey, no, please don't cut this. But the large majority of our voter base is not gonna notice if we take a cut, if this population takes a cut. So that's why I think we kind of elevate these programs, because that's easy for us. It's easy for us as elected officials to talk about cutting funding for the poor, for our poorest residents. It's a lot harder for us to talk about cutting funding that affects like every household, the folks who call our office every day with their garbage, their recycling, their paving. So if we're talking cuts, I think we should talk cuts everywhere. I don't like to talk cuts. I don't think we should cut. I think that we should increase revenue. But that's another conversation for later in the month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Catherine Keon, I want to thank you for meeting with me last week. And I will say, you always make me feel better about these programs, whether we're talking about, well, the bond you can't make me feel better about. I'm over it. Forget about that. But I'm talking about the HOF, right? Especially when, I went on to find out, as Councilwoman Gross pointed out, that a portion of that will be gap funding for a major development in my district. That makes me feel really good.
Tell them where you live, though. Tell them what district you live in.
What district I live in? I live in District 9.
I thought you were in never mind. I thought you were in 2.
Yeah.
Forget it. Don't tell them that.
So you do. You make me feel better about it. And David, you weren't there, I don't think, right?
That's right.
That's right. Okay. So I wasn't leaving you out intentionally, but I was referring to the meeting. So, yeah. So I always walk away feeling better about it. I really do. And I do in this case too. And I hear my colleagues speak of, the successes and how much they appreciate it. It, gives me a newfound look on it. But I did have just a couple of questions, like the home stabilization portion. It's basically 3 pots: home stabilization, rental gap, and legal assistance. Is that right?
Well, no, there's 8 different programs
Oh,
that
down
we
payment
can
assistance,
support
right,
through
right.
the
Yeah, right.
through the allocation. One of them, which is the small landlord fund, has no funding allocated to it in this round. So there's 7 different programs that we will support
Okay.
with
So
funding.
do me a favor, just grade. What's the most? What do we put most of that $10 million into of those 8 or 10 different programs? Is there something that's much higher than the others, or?
Well, I think the amount of funding that has been allocated in this plan, based on like highest to lowest, is kind of the priority from the advisory board as well as URA board on how it should be funded.
Yeah, and what is the highest?
The highest is the rental gap program at
Rental gap.
$2.5 million. That's the program that helps support the creation or preservation of rental units. And so a low-income housing tax credit deal like Carrick Senior, there were 6 that won awards from PHFA.
That's where my project comes in at Bird
Correct.
Place.
Your
right.
project, we have one in Councilperson Kel Smith's district and several other districts that have won awards that will be using a portion of rental gap funding towards their gap in their financing. Because the URA never funds 100% of a project.
Yeah, so the rental gap financing doesn't necessarily go into rental units that are existing. It goes into creating rental units.
It can go
filling
into
gap.
both, but
Yeah.
for the one in your district, it will
Right.
create new units.
Right. And that's where you won me over last time. So I do look forward to that. And I do see the value as to what you do. Obviously, we are in a money crunch here, and we're going to be over the next 5 years. The legal assistance, that's for somebody being evicted and needs an attorney, basically.
It's several kind of prongs in that program. It could be lawyer of the day, where we are currently in 4 of the 12 magisterial courts in the city, and they are providing legal service to low-income folks who are experiencing eviction and are at court that day. We also offer mediation, landlord-tenant mediation, so sometimes they don't get to court. We can mediate prior to them going to the magistrate, and they can resolve the problems there. The program also offers a lot of resources to folks who are in need to just kind of help them try to, help support them not being evicted, and if they are, resources to get into a new opportunity for housing.
Understood. And when it comes to legal help, we don't have somebody on a retainer. It's up to the person that we are funding or benefiting from this to pick their own legal assistance. Is that
No,
right?
we partner with outside providers for this program. There are several of them, but the two that are, it's Neighborhood Legal Services is in the courtrooms for the lawyer of the day, and so they're out there providing services on our behalf.
And they're paid on a case-by-case basis. They're not on a
Correct.
retainer. Right.
Correct. They bill hourly for the services that they provide.
Understood. And that's the majority of the $10 million is put towards that 2.5.
No, it's there's a good split of, it's pretty well split out. What they have requested in the 2026 allocation is $1.7 million.
Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty evenly divided. The home stabilization, give me a prime example of what that is.
The Housing Stabilization Program, we partner with Action Housing as our partner for that program. It is rental assistance to folks who have maybe mediated a landlord-tenant situation and have back rent that they need to pay. If they are low income, they oftentimes don't have a savings or a person that they could get that money from, right? And so the Housing Stabilization Program is a source of funds that's dedicated to help support them get back on track on their rental payments.
That's what I want to know.
Keep them in the
When you say
home.
stabilization, I mean, I think like, oh, let's support it, replace the windows, but not the case. Got
Right.
it.
The
Okay,
program names
understood.
are confusing,
Right.
but it's
Understood.
rental assistance.
Understood. Okay. You kind of won me over on the last meeting, so, I will be supportive today. Possibly we may come to you for a cut or two if we have to, but I agree with the rest of the members. It's very well worth, program, and you do good things with it. So thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Yep.
You. Further discussion? Seeing none. All those in second round, Councilperson Charlin?
Yes. I guess what I'm asking for, what I would be asking for would be a 2-week hold on this to get us closer to when we pass our budget. I think that would be responsible for us to kind of find out where we are at that point. I have not talked to members about this, but I would ask for I'm winging it. I would like to ask for a 2-week hold.
Is there a motion?
Motion to hold for 2 weeks.
Second.
Second, discussion on the motion. Council President?
I'll support the hold. The hold doesn't affect when that money would actually be transferred over, so I have no problem. What I will say, however, is that when this comes back up, or as we have budgetary discussions, I will be a fierce advocate for this fund. I would actually make the argument, and I know it wouldn't be feasible this year, that in some instances you have to spend money in order to make money. Us investing in this is a return. There's an absolute return on our investment. There's a return in the people. There's a return on the new homes that are being generated. This investment actually brings tax dollars into our coffers, as opposed to the other way around, where the majority of our spending does not. Right? This actually brings results, and so I'm just putting on the table. I will be a fierce advocate for this. I actually think $10 million is pennies in terms of the actual investment that needs made within our city, and we should actually be sending more than 10. But that's an argument for another year. I get it, because we are on such thin lines, but I also understand the idea to hold and the idea to look at every single item. I just don't believe we should be taking away from this one. That's all.
If I may, I very much agree with you, Council President. I believe that this is one of the most important things that we do here. None of us want to be in the situation that we're in. Just the reality is, we are where we are, and if, I don't think anyone would propose that we get rid of all of this transfer. I did look through, in the code. It is not something that we are obligated to make. So it is, the intention of the transfer is in code, but the obligation is not there. Specifically for a year like this, if we found ourselves in lean times. So, again, my preference is with you, Council President, that we expand this program, specifically some programs in it that I know that I've had a lot of success for, that have been kind of the lifeline that I need, short of going to a church or a charity or whatever it might be, to help people fix a furnace that's out or a roof that is leaking. This is the Housing Opportunity Fund is what is able to keep people in their homes, that are, often if they're reaching out to the council office, we are usually not the first people they've reached out to. So they're kind of at the end of their rope. And the ability that we're able to help them with this, I think is, I want to, and I forgot to say this earlier, I want to thank the council members that were part of that discussion and that fight to create the HOF when that did happen, because that is something that we're able to reap the benefits of. I just know that where we are right now, this is something that, as we all said, kind of everything is on the table right now, and I don't want to obligate ourselves to this at this point. So my hope is that this is, as Councilwoman Warwick said, that we're looking at making changes to trash pickup before we're looking at making cuts to this. But I do want to not obligate us to that right now. So that's my desire, to see a hold for 2 weeks.
Council President.
Just for clarity, I'm not questioning your intent at all, or any member's intent. Which is why I support the hold, because I understand we do have to take a fine-tooth look at every single thing. So I'm not questioning that at all. I'm just sort of stating on the front end where I'll be. I would also just say this, to your point, Councilman, passing this is passing the spending plan. To your point, passing this does actually not obligate us to have to do the transfer, just as a point of clarity. But again, I support the hold because I understand the intention.
Right.
All in favor of a 2-week hold for Bill 2510, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held for 2 weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bill 2537.
Resolution authorizing the execution of a quitclaim deed and associated agreements conveying all of the city's right, title, and interest in and to that certain city-owned property located at West Hall Street in the 27th Ward of the city and designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as block and lot number 75J75, Council District 2, to the Allegheny County Sanitary Authority in exchange for just compensation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2537, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Bill 2538.
Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of finance, and the director of public works to enter into an easement agreement or agreements with the Allegheny County Sanitary Authority for certain work to be performed on 3 city-owned parcels being identified by the Allegheny County Department of Real Estate as 9E209 River Alley, Pittsburgh 15212, Council District 1, 7L31 Beaver Avenue, Pittsburgh 15233, Council District 6, and 7M1109 Sproat Way, Pittsburgh 15233, Council District 6, at no cost to the city, and to accept just compensation therefor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 2538, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. That exhausts our standing committee's agenda. We have meeting announcements today. At the request of the chair for this hearing, we will take a half-hour recess and begin our budget hearings for the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure at 2:45, chaired by Councilwoman Warwick. Thursday, December 4th at 10 a.m., Council will hold budget hearings for Equipment Leasing Authority and the Pittsburgh Parking Authority, chaired by Councilman Mosley. Friday, December 5th at 1 p.m., Council will hold a cablecast public hearing on Bills 2296 and 2333 relative to historic designations of Westinghouse Park and the OMI building. Speaker registration will close at 11 a.m. the day of the hearing. Next week, Council will hold their regular meeting on Tuesday, December 9th and standing committees meeting on Wednesday, December 10th, both at 10 a.m. To register to speak at these meetings, please fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage by the deadline. You may also call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Is there anything from members? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes and adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.